how to do twice as much in a week. Kind of aim to share my experience of how would I do that and how actually I'm doing it every single time. There is all the time room for improvement, and like 3 years ago I would think, okay, this is probably the max what I can do during the week, and year passes and I can do even more. Another year passes and I can do even more, and I learned like you can do a lot, but not actually putting more time to it, but do things differently, making decisions differently, and use different tools, and experimenting with all that all the time, throwing out something which is not working, and actually putting in something which works even better than the previous stuff. And if you improve like that and go through this kind of cycle, you become very good at it. So what does it mean to do twice as much? Like if I closed 5 tasks this week, that means I'm going to close 10 tasks next week. For me, it's not that, because those tasks don't matter. They cannot be productive. Those tasks I can just do them, but they will not bring me any results. So for me, to do twice as much in a week means, and hope for you as well, is to bring twice as many results. I think it's obvious. We want results. We want results not only at work, but in our life, in our health, whatever we do. We want some kind of results. And we get to the result formula, which I really like. So result is 7 by 24 by A by S. What are those numbers? 7, 24, it's time. So basically, we need to have time to do something, obviously. But at the same time, it's a constant. Constant because we have the same time, all of us. We have same. We have 7 days in a week. We have 24 hours in a day. No more, no less. So therefore, in this formula, the time is constant. I'm not using it. I'm not going to talk about this today. Although, of course, you can put more time into something and you might achieve a little more. But this change is very marginal comparing to the other 2 parameters which we have in this formula. And A is activities. Those are actually activities what you do. Those initiatives which you work on. The ones what I talked about, the ones what I was doing wrong because I didn't have decision system. And I was choosing the wrong activities which I was working on. And they led me in that kind of life I had, in that kind of health conditions I had and stuff like that. And the S is skills part. So we not only have to work on our activities and do something, but we also have to skills to do so. And result formula, of course, itself, it's variable. It's basically time you have, activities you perform, and skills you have to perform those activities. That's how kind of boil down what the results is. If you like or agree with this formula, it becomes very, very easy and understandable that our results are basically depending on activities we do and skills we have. That's it. So, and that's what I did. That's how I looked at the results actually. And I started to work, okay, so now I have to work with activities and my skills. I want to go into the skills today. I know some of you have heard already part of this presentation and different parts of the different events in the past. And I would usually skip the skills. I would usually get into the activities. But today I want to touch up on the skills as well, just to make it also interesting for those guys who've heard another part of the presentation. So I'm going to talk about the skills. I have 3 things to tell about the skills. At least those things worked for me, and understanding of them helped me. So if you're talking about the skills, I wanted myself, and I suggest you to kind of try to think that way. Focus on what you're naturally good at. It's very simple, I think, because what you're naturally good at comes to you naturally. Like, you don't have to put a lot of effort into it. And if you choose to do something which has the part of it, that means you already have a huge advantage over someone who doesn't have this natural ability. For example, for myself, I'm like super pedantic person and super structured. Like, I live through the structure. You tell me something, I draw the picture in my head as a structure. Like, how would I split it into the smaller pieces? And it just came to me in the childhood. And I succeeded in project management, for example, because the project management, a part of it, you have to create the project, you have to split them up, you have to understand how do they look into very single details, but that was the thing which came naturally to me. And I could easily work in project management, and it was super easy for me. I would run a lot of projects simultaneously. Someone would call it multitasking, but for me it was just a structure. Just build a lot of different structures, put them all together at some place, and just follow them up, and that's it. And it helped me to stand out. And we all have this natural ability. We maybe did not think of this natural ability the way we maybe even using it, but we have to double down on it. What else I want to say about this part is we sometimes think we're naturally good at a lot of things. I'm good at this, I'm good at that, I'm good at this. And it's not true, actually. We only think that, but we're truly good at only one thing. And if we want to think on a global scale, when thinking of what you're actually naturally good at, think of this as follows. You should be in 4% of all the worldwide population who actually also good at this thing, but you should be in 4% of all the worldwide. If you are there, you're really good at this particular thing naturally. But if you're not, don't say you're good at multiple things. You're usually good only at one. And this is very essential to select that one and kind of build up on it and implement it in your daily routines. Another thing which actually impacting our skills is how do we select the career actually working on. Like in my case, you've seen I worked a lot in the restaurant business, and I was cooking and stuff, and then I kind of got back into the IT, and now I'm working on the business side of all that. So I'm still kind of in an experiment from one point of view, but from another point of view, it led me to understand how do I choose the career. And I started to learn to talk to people, and actually most of us, we choose our career kind of randomly, wherever is convenient to us, wherever in a kind of group of people we got someday. And this group of people led us to something which we actually do right now. We might be very good at it accidentally, but we didn't do it on a purpose kind of thing. But I like to kind of control such thing. And what I learned about the choosing your career is there are very many essential part of it. And I'm not urging you to change your career right now, but you might change the field easily because you might want to do something else. Maybe working in IT, but you want to start as a developer, but you want to start project management, stuff like that. I'm talking about these things as well. And I think that's very important to be in the field you're actually supposed to be, where you can actually express your naturality and your natural strengths automatically. And you're going to perform and you're going to strive a lot more because of it. So to choose your career, first you have to choose the industry you are after. How to do that? At least it's my experience. First, to do your industry, you have to take quizzes and understand your personality. Like, I never was thinking about my personality like from the emotional perspective, how strong I am and what are emotions and how to measure them and things like that. So the quizzes is basically the scan for your brain. The same like you go and do your blood work and you know how much of the cholesterol you have, whether you have high sugar levels and stuff like that, and you then start working on it. We don't actually do it with our brains. And those quizzes, these are the tools which actually do this blood work, but on your minds. I don't know, maybe some of you have went through them, but I love them. They are super precise. They're super smart. You cannot trick them. If you're going to try to trick them, they're going to use it in their results, and they're going to show you results accordingly, which is going to be inclusive with this trickish thing. You try to trick him. Basically, one person out of the 20 who takes those tests, they can trick them, and the results actually will not be appropriate to that particular person. And while doing so, you eventually kind of understand one of the most important things, whether you're introvert or you're extrovert. We have two groups of people. And question to ask and understand what type of person you are is, am I going to be a face of business on a company? Will I just be on the back end of my business or the company? Are you okay with your routine, for example? Because biggest difference in between introverted and extroverts is introverts are not stimulated by new things, and extroverts actually the opposite. They are super stimulated by new things. So you have to figure out what kind of personality you are. And by the way, while choosing your career and now working in choosing your industry first, you're kind of doing those tests and putting those clues together. You don't need to decide yet. If you try to imagine the process, how would you do that? You just put it on your list. Okay, I did that. I took this test. It says this and that. And you just kind of put it on the paper, building the roadmap for yourself, putting the clues together. This is an example of one of those tests, which I take twice a year, because it's the same as doing your blood work, right? You take your blood work, you see the cholesterol levels are high, and you try to think, maybe I should eat a little healthier, right? And you do, and you go in a half a year after, and your cholesterol already kind of low levels, or the levels which are appropriate. The same here. This is the picture at that same time when you take those tests. And as you see here on the test, you have a lot of different factors which you can actually measure. And if you know how to read those tests, you can use it into your advantage. Like for example, in this picture here, we have this conscientiousness, which actually shows ability for the person to run the business, to be the business person, to be entrepreneur. Because it has 4 different things like organization, diligence, which is structure, by the way, perfectionism, and prudence, which is hard work. And they measure and they kind of assign it to you afterwards. So you can know, you can figure out about yourself a lot in those quizzes, and they can give you the clues. This is another test. They have some kind of like openness to the experience, as you see. They have agreeableness. So the things which you would never think about, and you would never measure yourself in those parameters here. But again, we work in a data-driven society, so we might as well gather data about ourselves and see how we can use that data to improve. So I use this test, and a lot of people use those tests to figure out their personality, because personality is very correlated with the things which you want to do or supposed to do. This is very important. We're going to get to that. So I put in my opinion, the best quizzes here. One of the Untitled, you can search them up, or I can send you the links afterwards. So these are the ones which worked for me very well. I love them a lot. The Untitled quiz, Hexaca quest, Myers-Briggs personality test, Dark Triad, and Big 5 personality tests. A lot of companies in Silicon Valley, by the way, and a lot of companies all over the world, they use those tests to choose their employees, to choose their partners, and stuff like that. Because again, when you get something on the interview, you just, you can talk to those people, and you can ask them whatever questions you can, but you cannot actually get in their mind and do not understand how actually their minds work. And this test, this is the scan for their minds. So therefore, if you come to the interviews, they just give you this test, you perform this test, and they know precisely who you are, what you are capable of, and stuff like that. So it can help also take very good decisions on this path as well. The second thing, when you're on the path of choosing the industry, is deep searching your soul, asking yourself basically these questions. The first one is, when you were 14 years old, what did you want to do? Usually, in a lot of cases, statistically, it's the thing which you have done, we should have done. And statistically, again, you actually will end up doing it someday if you're going to get lucky. But you should not get lucky. You should have some kind of system to understand it and choose it. And this is the structure we're going through right now. Why 13 years? Because in 13, 14, then the person is 13, 14 years old, that person has the highest IQ at this age. Afterward, the IQ is actually getting lower. And our minds is most opened. They work like crazy. Those kids, 13, 14 years old, they're super smart, and they absorb so much information, and their minds working on the fullest capacity they will ever have in their lives. And this is proven scientifically. So that's why this age is the age to look at and see. Of course, at this age, you might think, you maybe had some thoughts, I want to fly to the moon. I want to be a cosmonaut or something like that. And you would just laugh about it. That's bullshit. It might not be. You have to dig deeper. Maybe you have to work in NASA. Maybe you have to work some kind of rocket engineer, have to be rocket engineer or something like it. It's just giving you the clue. Again, you just put those things on the list. You took the tests, you put whoever you are, what kind of your parameters there, then you try to understand what did you want when you was 14 years old, and stuff like that. You kind of put those clues together if you're on that path to understand what's your real industry is, what you're after. Another question to ask is, what did you grow up around? This is huge, of course, because usually, again, it's forming subconsciously, it's forming our skills in our mind, right? And it's going to also give you the clue. If someone grew up in a family where everyone is the doctor, they're probably going to become a doctor as well. In very rare cases, not. So look around your environment, see what kind of people you were hanging out with. Like, what was the topics and the themes which were most important maybe, and most often, which was reason around you. Subconsciously, you have them in your head. You might not want to pursue them. That's another thing, of course, but they might give you the clue. What are your enemies complimenting you on? These are usually your strengths. Like, hear around, see what people talk about you. They might say, this Igor guy, he's a jerk, but he's super structured, man. You probably think, okay, so this is probably my strength. So that's usually true. Of course, hopefully you don't have enemies, but again, just listen to the feedback and see what people say about you. And usually, the most often thing they say about you, this is your strength, and you should use it to build up on it. What have you been doing in the last 10 years, right? What do you have the most experience doing? This also can give you the clue, maybe what you like and love, and maybe what you want to work with. And last but not least, this is also very indicative, is what are you talking about on Saturday night with your friends when you're not working or not thinking about money? What do you like? You're not tired. You're ever tired to talk about it. And that's the thing which you probably love or like, and it's also might give you the clue of your industry. And the last but not least, in the industry selection path is, of course, experimenting. You have to experiment, and you have to understand what is for you. And, for example, shadow someone and see other industries, experiment and understand what for you. I think that's a good example here of Petri Sozumanch. He worked as a project manager and then as a product owner, and now he's shadowing Yanis. And I think this is the path to go for him to understand what he actually is into. Statistically, again, what they say is you have to try at least 12 things to really and deeply understand, is that for you or not? And it's actually applied not only for your career, for your work, for industry, but for the dates you had, for the businesses you run and stuff like that. You have to try at least 12 things. So think of how many things did you try in your life in a particular area of your life, and see whether it was enough of trying, because the probability is if you did not try enough, you have chosen something pretty randomly. It might be working for you because you got lucky and chosen something which actually works for you, but it might be the other case, the other way around. To sum up about the industry, so to make sure you are successful in the skills, that one part of the result formula, you have to choose the right career. And to choose the right career is you first have to choose right industry, as we just figured out. And to choose the right industry, you go through the quizzes, you understand your personality, you deep search in your soul, you ask you all those questions, and you put the clues together, and then you start experimenting. And that's how usually you find the industry, what are you after, and you understand what you actually want to do. And after you've done that, this is the only last thing what you have to do to pick up the really right career, is basically there are 4 options to pursue via 2 major choices. One of the choices is entrepreneurship. And there we have lifestyle entrepreneur and big corporation entrepreneur, basically two things only here. If you want to do your own business, you have to understand whether you want to be a lifestyle entrepreneur, you want to work and travel and be kind of on your own small business, or you want to be a corporation like think Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and stuff like that. So basically those two choices. Another one is you want to work for someone, then it should be the it can be startup company or again big corporation. That's it. Basically 4 options via 2 major choices. That's all you have. Of course, you can get deep into the details and try to build this ladder a lot more wide, but I would not suggest that. These are all the choices you have after you understand what you're going to be, what kind of industry you're going to work in. So how to make the choice here? It's interesting. This choice actually is very much dependent on your anxiety levels. Is how stressful you are and how can you handle the risk. And there are 4 groups of anxiety levels which are linked to those tests which we were talking about before. You've seen in that test, maybe some of them have spotted, there is an anxiety section where you can measure your anxiety, how anxious you are, how stress tolerant you are, and stuff like that. So if your anxiety level is super high, meaning like if today you're gonna lose 2 euros, you're gonna almost have a heart attack because of it. You're probably better off working in big corporations. If your anxiety level like 70, 80, and again, to understand that, you have to take those tests. You might as well work in a startup company where the environment is more dynamic, a lot more risks there, but at the same time a lot more challenges. Lifestyle entrepreneurship, usually for those people whose anxiety level is like 40, 60, and big corporation entrepreneur like Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos and stuff, it's just on the very low levels like 0 to 4. They're willing to have and take huge risks. And of course, this is not like very given, and you only should take a look at this. This is just a suggestions, but on average, that's how actually all the people kind of split up. And if you would pick the brain of the people who run the big corporation who are lifestyle entrepreneurship, who does work for someone in a startup company in a big corporation, and push them through those tests, you usually would see this kind of picture of anxiety levels. It also doesn't say that if you measure your anxiety level, you understand it, it's at level 70, 80, that's it, I'm only good for the startup company and that's it. Of course not, you can work with your anxiety levels. My anxiety level now is 33, according to those tests, but before it was like 90, 85 or something like it, again, 3-4 years ago. So you can work on those. Those tests only show you the situation as of now. You have to take them, you have to understand what to improve, and you have to start working on them, and you have to start trying. And as soon as you're going to do that, you're going to improve them, you're going to take them once again, and you see numbers change. And that's how you improve yourself, actually. Again, this is data. We all work and at our working life, we all use data to make decisions, but yet in our lives, we do not do that. But I think we are living in a world right now where we can get a lot of data about ourselves, especially about our brains, and use this data to actually get better and improve. So, quick recap for the career piece is to choose the perfect career, you have to choose your industry first. To do so, we take quizzes. We asking ourselves the questions, deep searching your soul, we experimenting. And after that, we just have to make 2 major choices with 4 options. Whether to work in big corporations, startup company, lifestyle entrepreneur, or big corporation entrepreneur, and it's all related to our anxiety levels and stress tolerance we have. How to understand what you have chosen actually the right one. Let's say you did all that, you have put it all together, you have the clues, you understand, you start doing it. How would you understand what you are on the right path? It's pretty easy. It sounds easy, and it is easy. So the perfect career is the one where days pass quickly, and you're always in the flow. You're not sitting and waiting for this 5 or 6 o'clock to come, but you're actually very surprised it's already 5 or 6 o'clock. And if it happens every single day, literally every single day, and you wake up in the morning and you're happy to run and do it again, that's how you know you have chosen the right path. I can share my experience that happens with me. Every single day, every single hour, I am working and I'm staying in the flow. It makes me happy. It gives me a lot of energy, and it gives me the strength to keep this energy and do not waste it, because I am in the flow. I'm not trying to fight it. It's just happening. So this is one of the indicators, one of the biggest indicators we have chosen right career. The last thing of the skills, if we talk about those skills part, right? So the result is the skills multiplied by activities. The first part of the skills was you have to choose something which you're naturally good at and double down on that. The second was you have to choose right career. And the third, you have to improve your skills all the time. And the first one is my most favorite one is I suggest you be coachable. I don't know if some of you read this book, Michael Jordan, The Life. Everyone read this book? No, okay. I read this book, and there was one, the guy who wrote the book, he met with Michael Jordan's coaches, and he interviewed them. He asked a lot of questions about him to write the book. And one of the questions he asked one of the trainers, which was not Phil Jackson, it was the second or the third trainer within the team. And he asked him, like, what can you say about Michael Jordan? Like, if I would ask you one thing, that's it. Like, the most important thing. He said, Michael Jordan is the most coachable person I ever met in my life. And the guy says, what do you mean? Can you explain? He said, yeah, I will explain you. So you know this guy, right? He's like the superstar. He's number one. Like, everyone looking at him, he does everything perfectly. He's the best. There is no one better than him. So he probably should take like a lot of pride in that. He would be super proud of it, and he would be cocky. And he was behaving himself pretty cocky with people sometimes. But he said, if we would have a game, the game is happening, and there is the pause, and Michael Jordan is being put back on the bench just to take a rest. And at the same time, with him would sit someone from the team, even the weakest player on the team. Then Michael Jordan would turn to him and start asking him what he thinks of his performance, what he would just did on the field. And he would listen to that guy. That guy would be all this time surprised, like, what the hell? I'm like 20 years behind this guy. I need like, I don't know what to get up to him, but this guy is asking me. So first of all, it shows humility. The guy is actually interested in the opinion of someone which is lower in the ladder of him. And the second of all, after hearing the feedback, the guy would give them feedback. Next morning, Michael Jordan would come to practice. Next morning, meaning he would already do it next morning. He would implement those things he liked in his practice very first morning, before the real practice would start with the coaches, with other players and stuff like that. He would be 2 hours earlier, and he would be doing those things which that guy gave them the feedback of. So this is very important. Be coachable, stay coachable, be open, and learn new things. And do not wait for super high level people to give you the feedback. You have people around you who can give you the feedback, and this feedback can be super valuable, and you can implement it in your life and not wait for someone you think a superstar should give you the feedback. As we see the superstar actually getting the feedback from the lower layer of players and then implementing it in their life, and that way getting better. The next one is be in the room with the higher temperature. That's the good one. This sounds silly, but I like this allegory where, like, if my temperature is 100 and someone's temperature is 200 and we meet in one room, the average temperature is going to be 150. I'm going to gain. That person's going to kind of lose, but I'm going to gain. So with this, I'm kind of urge you to stay in the room with a higher temperature. Try to find people with a higher temperature than you are, and they're going to kind of heat you up. And of course, it doesn't mean like we all now have to search for everyone who is with a higher temperature, and there is not going to be the room for anyone with a lower temperature to get the temperature higher. Basically, this is the mentorship. This is 5 close people rule. I'm going to explain it, and 33 rule. So 33 rule, what that means is the person, kind of to live the fulfilled life, the person should spend 33% of his or her time teaching someone, because that person more experienced than that someone. And while doing that, it brings the person courage and the person kind of growth and strength and confidence while teaching someone, because kind of the person thinks and feels more confident and more knowledgeable than those guys. The 33% of the time you should spend with people which on the same level as you are, because these people bring you competition. They're the same as you, they have the same skills, and you like hit up each other, and you compete with them. You want to beat them maybe at some point, and therefore it's very healthy to stay with this kind of people as well. And of course, for 100%, 33% of your time you should spend with the people who is 10, 20 years ahead of you not in age-wise, but ahead of you experience-wise, practice-wise. So try to strive for this 33%. It really works. It worked in my life. If I stayed on the level of first 33% or the second 33%, it helps you to grow. But unless you get to that third part as well, where you start spending time with people who is like 10, 20 ahead of you, you really start to grow and you start to skip all the bumps on the road, because those people already show you the way and they already have done it for you. So you kind of taking the shortcuts here. Also, 5 closest people rule. So what they say is you are average of those 5 people whom you spend most time with. And this is like a given. You cannot be more. So therefore, it's very healthy to try to look around and try to think of like, what are those 5 people I spend the most time with? So those 5 people, whatever they represent, is going to be the average of what you can get to. So this is the limit. So therefore, if you want to grow even higher and know even more, you have to work with this group of people. In some cases, you can even change them. You do not need to throw them out of your life. Those may be easily friends. And by the way, a lot of things like that is related to family as well. You don't throw them out of your life, but you try to spend time with a different group of people to get this knowledge and to keep growing. So don't get stuck in this group. I try to do it pretty often. Just list all the people that I spend time with, and then I list all the people what I want to spend time with, and I try to reach up to them, and I try to start kind of whatever conversation with them, whoever it might be, just to change those groups and try to get this higher temperature of the group. Build your own self-selected bubble. Yeah, this is another interesting thing. The thing is that the whole population of the world basically divided into the self-selected groups, as they call them, which have the same beliefs, the same experiences, and kind of something the same. They share the same values. What happens is that most often we get into those groups accidentally, and we start liking those groups, and we start feel convenient in those groups, and that's what they call convenience bias. We develop in convenience bias, and we sit there just because it's convenient to us. But actually, this is not the group and not the values which we really want to share. And if we want to grow out of that group, we need to create ourselves that self-selected bubble. And usually that happens that way. You sit down and you make a list of the criteria what you want to achieve yourself and what kind of characteristics or the characteristics of the people you want to be around, and then you start to attract those people. You get rid of the ones who are not fit in this particular criteria, and you try to attract the ones who actually fits there, and you actually purposely working with this, and it's really possible, and that's how you can create around yourself the team, the environment where you would thrive yourself. And of course, read books, listen to podcasts, watch videos. These are all your mentors, especially books. You know, as I said, like, we can find the mentors. We need those 33%. So if you don't have time, or maybe you are shy enough to meet up with someone and try to ask for the mentorship, your books is the first step to your mentorship, because a lot of people are already dead, but they left us the books. They can mentor them. We cannot sit down with them and talk with them, but we can take their book and read their book. That's how we get their mentorship. So books actually being perceived as mentorship, if you read the right books, of course. So these are the skills. We have went through the first part of the result formula, and what we learned is to kind of double down on this skills part, which will bring us more results, because we all aim for more results, twice as much result in a week. We should improve our skills, and we do it by understanding what we're naturally good at. We choose our career right, and we went through and understood how to do that. We improve our skills every day with being coachable, with staying with right room with the right temperature and stuff like that, and we stay in the flow. That's how we understand we are in the spot where we can use our skills the most. This is the part of skills. The next one is going to be the activities. How do you guys all feel? Should we take the pause, or should we keep going? Keep going? Okay. The next one is activities. Maybe it's going to be more interesting to you, maybe less. Let's see. So activities. When I talk about activities, I usually split them in 3 groups. The first one is A type of activities. Those are the tasks which move you directly to the goal. Those are the ones you actually want to do. The B type of activity, those are the tasks which support your A activities. Your A activities would not be possible without B. And the C type activities, those are the tasks which are not important at all whatsoever. So what we want to do is we want to double down on those A type activities. We want to delegate the B type activities, if it's possible, and we want to eliminate C type of activities. That's how we're going to get closer to doing those right activities, meaning being effective. Just a real example, I'm going to use the same example I use all the time. Let's say this lecture, this talk, what I give is the thing I do for a living, and I actually getting paid for that. And I had to fly from Canada to do that. So this is my A type of activities. I've done it just because to come here and talk to you guys and get paid. And this is like my major, this is my career, this is my everything. So this is obviously A type of activity. That's what brings me joy, that's what brings me money, and things like that. This is obviously A type of activity. I had to go here, I'm doing that. B type of activity, these are the tasks which I need to do in order to execute on my A type activity. So to be here, I had to fly from Canada, so I have to buy the ticket. I have to stay here somewhere, I had to book the hotel and stuff like that. Those are the B type of activities. Without them, I wouldn't be here. If I wouldn't be here, I would not be able to perform, and I would not be able to get paid. So those are the B type of activities. C type of activities, whatever. I did something when I was in Canada. I went shopping and bought something, and I thought it's needed for this trip. It was not. So that was useless. I just thrown my time away. So what I want to do is I want to concentrate on these A type of activities. Throughout the year, I want to get as many lectures like that. I want to get as many stages like that. I want to get paid as much as I want. And I want someone to take care of all the logistics. Buy me tickets, schedule meetings, book those book these rooms and stuff like that. Those are the B type of activities, which might easily be A type of activity for someone else who is doing them, right? But for myself, if I am in this role, I strive for this A type of activities. Again, I'm going to repeat here. So talking about the activities, we are effective if we're doing right activities, and we are efficient if we're doing activities right. So to continue with this result formula, we know how to improve our skills. Now we have to understand how do we work and choose our activities and do them right. That's all we have, and it all boils down to systems and tools now. System help us make right decisions. Decision help us choose right activities. Tools help us to do activities right. So I'm going to be talking now about those tools, about the frameworks what I have and I use, and about those tools what I use to do those activities, to select them, to make decisions what kind of activities to select and stuff like that. But when I say tools, those are not literally tools like hammer and the nails and stuff like that. And not only the softwares or the project management tools I use, but also things like inspiration and energy, for example. So I split all the tools, as I call them, into the two main categories. One of them is positioning tools, because we cannot just jump into something and do something and expect we're doing it in the best possible way. We have to position ourselves first. You know, like they say, what a luck is, it's where opportunity meets readiness. What? Preparation, yeah. So you prepare yourself all the time, and as soon as opportunity hits you, you just jump on that opportunity because you are prepared, and someone thinks you're lucky. But you actually were preparing yourself for this opportunity. You were choosing your career, you've been working on your skills, and someone now offers you the job, which requires a lot of stuff to know and think and stuff like that. But you were positioning yourself, you were working on yourself to get ready for that. And as soon as you get this, you jump on it, and you're able to do that in perfect and better than anyone else would do. The same here. To work on your daily routines, to perform in meetings, to manage your Asana or Jira, to manage your calendar and stuff like that, you have positioned yourself first before doing that. So for me, position tools are inspiration and energy. We have to have inspiration. Inspiration helps us to start. We all know that to start is super hard. To start going for sport is hard. To start doing something different, it's hard. It's all hard. So that barrier, inspiration helps us to overcome. And I will share my experience with inspiration. Energy helps us to continue and finish. So inspiration helps us to start, but energy helps us to finish. It's very important because we not only have to start, we have to finish. So it's energy. Another group of tools which I'm going to talk about today as well is execution tools. Those are real tools which we use again on daily basis, weekly basis to perform on our activities. And I put two big categories here is order, rituals, and habits. I kind of count them as the tools which you have up to your sleeve, and the personal growth methods which you can use, which will help you to perform on those activities a lot better. We will start with the first group, which is position and tools, inspiration and energy. So as I said, inspiration is something which helps us to start, which is very important. And how do we create inspiration? And sometimes we actually do it subconsciously. We sometimes do not think of it, but goals is one of the most important, and I think plays the most important role in inspiration. We cannot be easily inspired if we don't have any goals to follow. That's why, by the way, we all have OKRs. This is the same methodology. We all have to have those goals to keep us inspired. And what I mean by that, it helps us to start. Because if we see the goal we want to reach that goal, it gives us this energy to start. Now we're ready to start. Goal inspires us. And I suggest, at least I do that, I'm going to share it with a couple of next slides, you make goals for yourself. You not only work on OKRs at your workplace, but you also make the goals for your life, for all the aspects of your life which you have. And I'm going to share how I do that. Then you have the goals, try to visualize them. It usually works very good. What I do is I visualize them, and I'll also share this experience with you. And the third part, of course, inspiring mentors, videos, books, and podcasts. You can listen to them. You can use these mentorships to get inspired, because when you see how someone does something which you are really interested in, and the person is willing to share it with you, whether it's going to be the book or the personal conversation mentorship or something like it, coaching, you get inspired. Actually, at least I get inspired a lot. The goals, they are super important to get things done, and not done, but started. And personally myself, I try to think of my life as this formula here. I kind of choose out those four main pillars of the good life for myself, which is health, wealth, love, and happiness. And I know I have to work on the first three ones, which is health, wealth, and love. And happiness will come kind of on its own if I'm going to succeed in those first three. Because in the end of the day, this is one of the public opinions, but I kind of join this opinion. In the end of the day, each of us, if we think really deeply, at first we might say something different, but if we think very deeply, each of us just in the end of the day want to feel happy. Whatever makes us happy makes us happy. We feel happy. We all strive for that. We don't strive for money, for top positions in the company and stuff like that. We kind of try to find out ourselves and just feel happy. If you feel happy, we feel happy. So for me, feel happy means I'm very successful in the health part of the life. I'm successful in wealth and love, friends, love, romance. And what I do is I actually put the goals for each one of them every single year. Every single year I have a goal, a lot of them actually, where I put them in Asana, by the way. But of course, it doesn't matter what you use, what tools you use to create those goals. But I create goals for health, I create goals for wealth, and I create goals for love. Of course, I have also the goals which are related to the business and the company I'm working with, those OKRs, but I combine them all. I do not only leave on the table the goals which I have related with my work, but I also do them in my daily life. Therefore, it not only helps me to achieve those goals, of course, but it helps me to the goals which company, the OKRs what company is trying to work with are not that weird to me. They're obvious to me because I understand what goals means, and I create those same goals for my private life as well. So it only makes sense for me to make goals at work, and then the company offers me to go and work through the OKRs. I'm very happy of it because I know that thing works, because I use it in my private life as well. So in Asana, for example, I have this project for myself. As you see, I have health, wealth, and love and happiness. 3 projects which I have, and in each project I create initiatives. Actually, for every single year, I create what I want to do. Like, this is love and happiness, and I split the categories and I put the stuff what I want to do to succeed in this particular category of my life. This is kind of the roadmap here. Wealth, I put stuff for wealth as well. Health, it's still wealth. Yeah, it's, by the way, the education, the mentors, and what I was talking about. So I have the most important thing just to kind of emphasize what I want to learn this year, for example. Live events I want to go to, which will promote my personal growth and stuff like that. Mentors and online programs I want to go through. Again, I'm kind of trying to follow and practice what I preach. And everything what I say today is the things what I have done. It's not the theory, it's the practice what I have done myself. And that's why I'm sharing it with you today and sharing my experience. How did it work for me? I have the same for health. And I just put and list everything what I want to do. And you see like there's some done things and stuff like that. And I combine it all in the to-do list. And I have January here, I have February there. So for every single month, I kind of split them what part of all the whole thing I want to do. And I implement it actually in my daily life. And when I go through the programs from the teaching for the podcast and reading the books, I actually not only read them and forget about them, I kind of document them. And in Asana, I also have the projects for each and every book or the program where I kind of sit down after I read something or I've heard something and I document it for myself. And usually it helps me to also get out some kind of initiatives which I want to implement into my life, and I just put it in one of those categories again in the project in Asana. And just and by the way, in the previous slide you see in the very bottom name Irina, this is my wife. I also delegate some tasks for her to make sure we achieve our common goals. So yeah, goals inspire me, and I have the system how to so I guess with this I just want to say that take a look at take a look whether you have goals, what kind of goals you have, whether they cover all aspects of your life, and maybe you should work a little harder on those goals and cover more aspects of your life if you want to achieve more in whatever aspects of your life you are interested in. And of course at work is very important. Visualizations, as I said, visualizations are very good to remind you of your goals. Because yeah, okay, you can have the goal. I have this Asana, I have so many initiatives in a project and stuff like that. I cannot keep them all in my head to get inspired every single day. So I have to do something to actually get reminded of it. So this is one of my desktops. I just put these 4 pillars to understand, to remember. And as soon as I open my computer, I see that, and I kind of linked myself to those goals. And I'm now in the mood and in the groove to work on those goals on my in my daily routines. This is the second picture what I have on my second desktop. That picture was taken a long time ago, but this actually was the time where I have decided to change, and I was on this path of finding the way how to change, how to get rid of that all only working thing, and actually find some harmony and some balance in my life and do changes. And I took this picture, and this change came from this place. So this place always there. It helps me to stay on track because I understand and I remember how easy it is to get off track and push on the brakes. But I want to push on the gas pedal all the time, so I keep this to remind me of those times. So visualizations are very good to get you inspired as well, and to link you and sync you always with your goals. Of course, inspiring mentors, books like this. How many? 6 guys? Yeah, these 6 guys I follow a lot. I study about them deeply, and a lot of stuff I'm talking today I learned from them. Not only, but I try to limit myself to make sure I don't spread my focus too much. But these guys, the ones who help me also understand and learn a lot of things, what I know today, and I try to implement in my life. And they inspire me, of course, with their action, with their success, with the things what they do. And this is how and where I get the inspiration. I also have them by my side all the time in my bookmarks bar. Their pages, their resources, everything is there, so I can easily approach them when I need it. Yeah, I put this book, Reading Bible. It's kind of not part of the structure, but as we start to talk about books, and we're talking today about efficiency and what kind of tools we can use to actually do the things right. So to read books, and I know if someone of you read books and how many of them, and if you like books or not, but there is a lot of techniques how to read books and how to actually like to do that. And I want to share mine, which worked for me a lot. I wouldn't read at all till I was like 30 probably. I didn't like, I hated. Now I love it, and I think it's just because one of those mentors actually we just previously showed, it was Ty Lopez on the left corner there. He showed, and he had a program of how to read the books. He read one book every single day. He read more than 10,000 books so far. He has like the biggest private library of books ever, and he's like the expert of reading books. And he has the whole teaching lessons, which are paid, of how to read books, because he's done it and he's doing it the whole life. I bought that course. I went it through because I wanted to start read books. So there are 3 types of books you want to read, and this is super important. The first one is history. Why history? It's just because like 80% of the events which happen in our life, they repeat themselves. So therefore, when you study history, you actually position yourself. Again, remember positioning tools. You position yourself, and you can predict a lot of things that are going to happen in the future by knowing what has happened in the past. Therefore, history is very important to read. Not only the books which improve your skills or something like it, the history is super important, and there are a lot of things which basically conclude the history in a very small books like that. And you can read it within a couple of days, but you can go through the whole history of the whole world. And by the way, it's very important you read them in the mornings. I will explain why a little later. Another type of books you want to read is biographies, and that's usually you do in the evening. It gives you courage. As I said, that book, Michael Jordan, The Life, this is the book which you would like to read in the evening, and this is the biography. It gives you courage. You get very excited of how someone can achieve whatever they achieve. You get inspired by them as well, and it gives you a good sleep as well. And of course, field studies, whatever you want to study, like efficiency, IT, development books and stuff like that, usually read them due daytime. It's not a good thing to read them in the evenings because they make your brain race and think and start to build ideas and stuff like that. And then you're going to have less efficient sleep, which we're going to talk about later on as well. Another thing is very important, which worked for me like a charm, is, as he calls it, Ty Lopez calls it, golden nugget rule, is that he says, and it's really true, at least for me, you take a book, you start to read it, you read it, and I don't know, that book has like 150 pages, and out of these 150 pages, you actually took maybe only 2 things which kind of resonated with you, and you try to implement those 2 things. So, and those 2 things were on 2 pages of this book, but the book has like 150 pages, right? So what we usually do is we are so persistent, we take the book, and our goal is to read this book from A to Z. Only then we're going to start reading another book. And we lose here a lot of time and a lot of opportunities. Because if this is true, if we can find only a couple of those golden nuggets in one book, we have to have the better technique to search for them, find them, get them, and get to another book. We don't need to care about 150 pages in this particular book because it's not for us. It's wasting of time. So one of the golden nugget rules is table of content kind of reading. So basically, you open the book, you look at the content of the book, table content of the book, you scan it through, and you see what is something which kind of took your attention, and you kind of liked it, and you think, oh, I like this thing, I would read about that. And you just skip to those pages which actually this thing is written, and you just read that. That's it. Because anything else were not kind of talking to you. You were not interested in anything else. That's why. That's probably why, because you are in the stage of your life right now, you are not ready to consume that information in those pages. That's probably, usually that's the case. And they're not going to work for you anyways, and you're not going to absorb this information anyway. So you read that, you put that book aside, multiple attempts I call it, you put this book aside and you take another one, and you again do the same thing, and you again read only things which you're interested, and then you do again with another book. And you actually have like 4 or 5 books open and reading simultaneously. Not like literally right now simultaneously, but like throughout the day or throughout the week. And that's how you are getting those golden nuggets a lot faster with not actually reading the book from A to Z and not spending that huge amount of time. And the last thing is, that was simultaneous reading but multiple attempts. So you were not ready to consume this information a week ago, but now 1 year passed. You got new experience through this 1 year. You got new things. You learned new things. And now you positioned yourself differently. So what they suggested and what I actually do, and I have tested it already, you go through those same books again. You again open up this content, table of content, and you start to read it through. And now you have different topics which kind of stand out. And now you want to read them because you got the different experience on top of you, and now this experience makes you open to those topics, and you open them up and you read them again. You do it with another book. Eventually you might read them all from A to Z, but you got your golden nuggets a lot quicker and you can implement it in your life already, and then you get another golden nuggets as you grow. And this is how you read books, and this is how the process might be fun for you and very efficient, because you combine it with 3 different types. You read history, biographies, and like the stuff which might improve your skills, and at the same time you read it efficiently, meaning you are as quick as possible to get those golden nuggets out for yourself, which is most added value to you as a person and to your life. So this is a recap on inspiration. To get talking about the activities, to actually start doing something, you have to have this inspiration. And what I do is, and a lot of people do that as well, we put the goals in. We create the goals for everything we do. We visualize them to make sure it makes us remember stuff, and we kind of linked ourselves to our goals literally every single day, because we tune ourselves in. And we should get inspired by books, by mentors we have in our daily life, on maybe weekly life, wherever coaches we have. Listen to the podcasts, read to books and stuff like that. Sounds good? You like it so far? Okay. Let's finish energy and maybe then take a little pause, right? It's going to be about the middle of the presentation. So energy, as I said before, inspiration helps you to start, and energy helps you to finish. And it's very important you have this energy. And by the way, there are methods, I'm going to share it with you today, what I work on and what I pursue. But all those methods, they help you generate energy. But then it's very important to keep this energy throughout the day. And there are activities which generate energy and activities which drain energy. So therefore you have to focus on activities which generate energy and kind of keep you going all the time. You don't kind of get this energy out of yourself like in first hours of the day, couple of hours of the day, and then the rest of the day you're like very drained and you don't have any energy and you're not focused and you're not making right decisions, and therefore you're not making right actions and you're not getting to the results. So energy is very important in my case, and it's one of the pillars of the position and tools, as I call them. This is the second one. As you remember, the first one was inspiration. So energy generators. Of course, it's sleep. I know some of you were interested in sleep. I take care of my sleep a lot. I was not doing it before, during those times which I showed you. When I worked a lot, I used to sleep like 4 or 5 hours a night at most, a little bit more on the weekends. And I was doing it all the time. And I could sustain it. Well, kinda. I was still grumpy and stressful and stuff like that, but I could sustain it. But I never compared it to something different until I started to experiment, because I read all those books, you only need 4 hours to sleep and stuff like that. I don't believe into that, by the way. I want to say right away. I'm not going to share any experience of how to sleep 3 hours a night. I don't think it's possible. It's only kind of exception in our life. So you have to take care of your sleep, and I I have such golden nuggets, let's call them same way. I have such golden nuggets of how do I take care of my sleep. So this is basically the mantra, the Bible for me, what I pursue. The first, do not use electronic devices 2 hours before going to sleep. They usually irritate you, they irritate your brain, and you cannot calm yourself down quick enough. And even if it stays on the way of fall down into the sleep, even if you get in a sleep pretty quick, you don't know what is happening afterwards, and afterwards your mind is still racing and your sleep is not that high quality anymore. If you're still using those devices, put them on a blue screen mode. It calms your eyes down, it calms the brain down as well. So if I still do that, I'm not perfect, I don't do those things all the time, and I sometimes also still keep working on do something like that. I use this blue screen mode. Do not eat heavy meals and drink alcohol within 2 hours of going to bed. I experimented with that. It was just not the random things. I experimented for real with the devices, and it was interesting to me. What is the difference between how do I sleep if I eat 2 hours before and I eat pretty heavy, or I eat light meals, and then the same with alcohol. And the results were very drastically different. And I will show them in my next slides with the pictures. Do not do heavy workout 2 hours before going to sleep. I think this is obvious. Again, your heart is pumping, you have a lot of adrenaline, and it's a lot harder to fall into sleep if you do that 2 hours before your sleep. Do not drink coffee. In my case, it's 12 hours before going to sleep. And I also experimented it. I drank like 3 cups of coffee, and then 2 cups of coffee, and then 1 cup of coffee, and I tried it in the morning, I tried it in the evening, in the afternoon, and I kind of follow in myself and see what's happening with my sleep. So yeah, if I drink coffee, only 1 cup, and usually I try to do it before 10 or 11 a.m., and that's it. Do not do your work 2 hours before going to sleep. Try to do anything else but work. Read books, watch videos, or something like it, but do not work. Again, work gets you excited. Your mind is switching itself to the work kind of pace and start behaving itself as you would do during the day. Put all your thoughts on the paper. I know a lot of people who got a lot of information throughout the day, and now the minds are racing and trying to put this information in some kind of structure, and we think how we're going to do this in that project, do that in that project. So in these cases, I just sit down, literally sit down, open up an Asana, and start typing. Whatever I had in my head, I start typing. I do not put it in the projects and stuff like that because I don't want to waste time on that. It's the evening already. But I open Asana, I have the project named Daily Notebook. I called it Daily Notebook. I use it instead of Evernote or whatever tools you might use. I use that within Asana. I want to stay in one space where I have everything in. So I have this Daily Notebook. I open it up and I start writing everything down. And I write until I don't have any thoughts anymore. And then it calms down the mind, and the mind will not race anymore afterwards. I just fell into sleep. My head is empty because I just had emptied it out. And this is a very important thing to do if you have mind who likes to race around. Mine does it all the time. Only use your bedroom for sleeping and romance. This is super important. Don't use your bed to eat in, to watch TV in, and stuff like that. This is working huge for me personally. Like, I used to eat in my bed long time ago. I used to watch TVs and stuff like that, and then I just stopped doing it. The bed is just only for sleep and romance, and that works for your brain as a switch. As you turn off the light, the same it works for your brain. As soon as I come in the bedroom, I really feel different. I feel completely different. And again, this training, it's not going to happen within a day, guys. Remember the first thing what I said before this presentation. You have to practice it. You have to start doing it, and you're going to see the results in 3 or 6 months, not in 1 or 2 days. And then you start to kind of experience this kind of feeling, and it makes you fall into sleep super fast. Go to sleep before 12 a.m., they say. It works for me. If I go after 12 a.m., I feel a lot worse in the morning. sleep at least 7-8 hours. That's what I do. Sleep in a quiet, dark and cold room. It's very important. Your room should be completely dark. Like even if you have some sensors from your wall clock or something like it, turn it off or cover it up. It really helps. The room should be cold enough for 100%, and there are a lot of different even gadgets to make your room colder and make your sheets colder and stuff like that. You can search up on the internet a lot of things like that, a lot of devices. And one of the most important things of the sleep here is sleep consistently throughout the week. You probably heard of it. I don't know if you have experimented with it. I had. And if you go to sleep at the same time and you wake up at the same time, plus, minus hour, it works as a charm. Like your body gets on the clock. And I started to practice in it a couple of years ago. And what happens right now is 9 times out of 10, I wake up 5 minutes before the alarm clock. So alarm clock actually not waking me up. I'm not getting scared all the time and kind of got out from my deep sleep or something like it. I actually wake up literally 5 minutes. My alarm clock is 5:50 every day. 6 o'clock every day, and I wake up 5:50, 5:55 every single night. Well, as I said, 9 out of 10. And this correlates with what times I try to go to sleep and what times I wake up. Our bodies adjust super fast, and the body understands, so this is the clock. That guy gonna do it. That guy gonna stand up at 6 for 100% anyway. So I might as well adjust and wake him up myself and do whatever work I need to do during the sleep on my terms. And that's what body does with you actually. And you wake up and you're ready to roll. It's very important. Yeah, you can use some devices as well to make your sleep easier and to make your sleep less disturbant. I use that. This is mine. This is a white noise sleeping machine, they call it. I don't know if you heard of them. But what it does is it generates different sounds, as you see. Baby sound, city, brook, waterfalls, brown noise, pink noise, white noise, and stuff like that. So, and it's adaptive sound as well. So you would probably think, well, I can take some application, put some sound or whatever, and just fall into sleep. So these are unique devices in a way that they create the sound which does not repeat itself in the cycle. So it's gonna play 24 hours, 24/7. It's not gonna repeat the melody or whatever. Your mind will all the time follow the flow and will never stop just because it starts all over again. It's unique sounds. It's mixing unique sounds, and all the time the sound for the mind is completely unique, and the mind follows this kind of sound and music. Like we sleep with my wife and my younger daughter, she sleeps in our bed, and she can be very active during the night, and therefore it disturbs my sleep. So when I bought that thing, I actually, one of those mentors which I follow, they suggested that they use that. I bought that thing. She sleeps like a baby. She's a baby. But she sleeps a lot better, and therefore I sleep a lot better. So yeah, you might try to put that. Some guys have this stuff built in their house acoustics, and they just play it all over the place, and you can switch different sounds in different rooms and stuff like that. Use earplugs if you need to for better sleeping. Maybe you have a noisy, and yeah, by the way, about this machine is have adaptive sound as well, meaning it listens to the sound around the room, and if there distraction appears, it actually switches to the different frequencies and louder sounds, meaning it keeps kind of your brain engaged with that sound it's playing and not being disturbed by whatever sounds, whatever happening behind the walls or outside the street. So that thing really works if you're willing to try it, and you need to try it. Use earplugs, as I said. Track and improve your sleep. This is my recent experiment, and I got this Oura ring I have here on my finger, and it tracks your sleep, and it does amazing things with telling you what is happening. As I said, we live in a data-driven world, and we might as well get this data and do something about this data. So what this ring does is it measures how well I sleep, meaning how many times I wake up during the night, what kind of stages of sleep I went through, deep REM sleep or the light sleep. It measures how many breaths I have during 1 minute. It measures my temperature, whether it drops or getting higher. It measures the heartbeats. It measures everything. It measures what time I go to sleep. It measures what time I wake up. It measures what my daily activity is and stuff like that. And it combines all this information. They use AI for that. And they use this information to give me the feedback and give me the suggestions, what should I do or what should I change. It comes with application. I think I have, the ring itself looks like that. And that's how it looks on the mobile phone. It gives me suggestions, what should I do? Like based on the data, it measures how did I feel yesterday, the day before yesterday, the days in the past, how active I was, how many breaths I had, how fast my heartbeat have dropped as soon as I fall into the sleep. It's one of the measurements, for example, how restful you're going to feel in the morning. Your heart, if you are doing everything properly, should drop into the heartbeats very quick enough as soon as you fall into the sleep and stay the same during the night. That's how you kind of recover. So it measures all that stuff, combines them all together, and then sees when you perform best and measures what did you do that day when you performed best. It says, oh, okay, so he went to sleep around 10 o'clock. Okay, it puts it into the data and then uses that data to suggest, and then it suggests, for example, right now it suggests me to go to sleep at from 21:15 till 10 o'clock. I said that's perfect time because based on the last couple of months, your performance in the morning was the best. You went for sports, your heartbeat was the best. You was most active at this during that day. Your heart dropped very good during that night and stuff like that. Your breaths was perfect during the night and stuff like that. So it uses this information, and when you cheat, it shows you right away. Like I especially try to use the alcohol before sleep and see what that thing says. I ate a lot before sleep and see what that thing says, and that thing was very precise. It said me like, you probably ate or drank some alcohol before you sleep, or you worked out before you sleep because you did, and it shows you all the graphs and stuff like that. So just a couple of screens. They have the cloud web as well, and you can see all those graphs about everything what you do and how do you perform. And this, for example, the dimensions of the graphics you can build, like it's almost your own Power BI where you can actually work with data about yourself. So that was the sleep. The next, of course, is sport. You have to take care of your body and you have to exercise. They're also going to give you the energy. And I remember we talking about the energy here. And I suggest weight trainings. I do myself weight trainings, not like crazy, but I read about the weight trainings, and they actually suggest to do weight trainings for not only for men, for the woman, and as well. And it's very healthy, not only for like these obvious reasons. Why is it healthy? It improves your blood pressure and weight loss. Maybe if you're interested in that, it makes you also sleep better and stuff like that. But actually, when you tear up the muscles, the body tries to repair the muscles, and body produces more extensively those new cells. And during this process, it actually feeds you with new cells, the whole body. And people who do that, do weights regularly, they live longer and they look a lot younger. So I was interested in this aspect of that sport, and I'm doing it because of this belief. Maybe it's wrong, but as of I read and study about it, it's true, and I like to feel that way. So I do it all the time to make sure I look younger. But no, I'm interested in longevity. Cardio training, of course. We're going to have stronger heart, more oxygen delivery, also weight loss, better sleep, and lower blood pressure. All that stuff goes together. Now I'm going to dive deep into details into the sport. I think you are very familiar with that, but I would say weights and cardio for your heart, weights for your body. Take care of your diet. It's very important. It also can help you to have energy. Eat less but more often. Stock up on your healthy snacks. Make sure you have your healthy snacks with you. They usually help to skip some cakes or candies or something like it. Less fat and carbs, less sugar. Limit heavy alcohol intake, limit coffee intake, and try to fast once per week. It's my new experiment. They say it's healthy and you're gonna feel better and stuff like that. I didn't try it yet. I'm gonna try it when I come back to Canada. That's why I put it this in this. Yeah, this is how my shelves look like in the office. So this is the healthy snacks I have. If someone offers the cake or someone has the birthday, I try kind of to skip it and go to my shelves if I want to eat something instead, and I take this because I think it's healthier than the cake. Search for minerals and vitamins packs. Yeah, we all not robots, and we have to feed ourselves with some vitamins and minerals and whatever we have. Of course, for that you have to understand what you personally need. But I kind of work on this package, what works for me, and I use this to also stay energized, because this for sure helps me do that. And again, as I've suggested to do this scan of your brains with those tests we've talked about, I also suggest to check your blood like twice per year. That's what I do, just to see what you have there, and it's going to give you the clue again what you have to do to improve it. And I try to do it all the time. This is my framework in my system. I have the alerts of it. I'm not like thinking of it all the time. You might think like, how is this guy maybe remembers all that stuff? But it's all, whether in Asana or in my calendar, it pops up. It's set up. The system is set up itself. I have all alerts to do my blood work. I have alerts to do my test and stuff like that. So I'm not thinking of it all the time. I'm not making my head busy because of that. And the system just kind of pops out these things, and I do them. And as soon as I do them, of course, you have to act on them. Just do things and try think. As I said, it's nothing. You have to actually act on that afterwards. So actually, as soon as I get these results, I start to pivot. I start to adjust if it's needed. And recap for this part is, that was position and tools. We have to position ourselves to succeed during the day, during our week. We have inspiration here, because inspiration helps us to start. We start a lot of things during the week, during the day, a lot of them, and it requires something to lead us to start it, to make us want to start it. And I think this is inspiration, and inspiration can be achieved and kind of trained through the goals we have and set. Visualization, which reminds us of the goals, and listen to the podcasts, reading books, and maybe having inspiring mentors, which can be those same books. Position tool number 2 is energy, and we get energy through our proper sleep. We have a lot of different ways how to make sure our sleep is good enough with the high quality. We do sports, and we do dieting. That's all for energy and inspiration. The next set of tools, as I call them, are the execution tools. And they help us actually execute things. So we had positioned ourselves. We now know what to do to inspire ourselves to start things. We know how to generate energy and consume this energy in order for us to finish the things. And now we actually have to get to actual things and start doing them. And how I do them and how I try to execute them is by building systems, habits, and rituals, which I'm not thinking of a lot. It just built in my daily routine kind of automatically, and it's happening automatically, so I'm not wasting my energy on actually thinking of how to do that and whether the system being triggered, whether it's working right now and stuff like that. And I'm going to explain you how I do that. And these 2 groups, which I have already shown previously, it's order. You have to keep everything in order. Rituals and habits. What I try to kind of implement into myself, into my body and my mind, to make sure they kind of automatically appear, and I make all the decisions just based on them. And personal growth methods at the very end of the presentation, I have a list. So yeah, we kind of get this inspiration, we got this energy, and we need to kind of inject it into our daily routines. And I want to continue with the order, rituals, and habits. And basically, my aim is to make sure my daily life is more like the second picture, bottom picture, where everything is clean, everything in order. I know where to find everything and how to reach everything, and less as the picture on the top. And my life, like 5-7 years ago, was as the picture on the top. So to maintain that order and that clean picture of everything what I do and stay focused, I basically use these 4 groups of rituals, I would even call them. Morning rituals: how do I start my mornings, what I do in the mornings, how I keep up with my day, what is a must for me to do during the day, what are the weekly rituals, how do I conclude the week, and how do I plan next week ahead, and of course the evening rituals, again, what I do in the evenings to kind of conclude the day. And we're going to start with the morning. So the mornings are the perfect time when we position ourselves for the day. So we were talking about the positioning tools to get us ready. Now we position ourselves for the particular day. And I suggest you use your mornings. They're very important. We underestimate mornings, in my opinion. They are super important, and they are jump starts for our day. And in order to make our mornings as good as possible, we have to wake up early. In my opinion, I like to wake up early. We have to express gratitude. This is one of my findings, and I started to do like a year ago. So what you do is you wake up and you express your gratitude, what you're grateful for. It trains your mind to appreciate stuff, and it trains your mind to think positively and choose the positive things out of all negative, and concentrate on the positive and optimistic things. And therefore you're not concentrating actually on the problem, if we're talking about the problem, but you concentrate on the solution automatically. Like a couple of years ago, as soon as the problem or the issue appears, I would start thinking of the negative consequences of it. And now I automatically think of the solution, and I see this as an opportunity to improve. And it actually excites me. The more problems and issues, the better I feel, because it's a playground where I can perform and I can express myself, and it can be actually fun. And it comes with this gratitude. And again, remember, we have to wire our brains. We cannot become grateful just in one day. We have to repeatedly do that. So I suggest you do it, and I learned it from mentors. And I started to do it. I pushed myself to do it. First couple of weeks or even a month, it was silly to me. I was looking at it as a silly thing to do, but I was still pushing myself to do. Just get up in the morning. And by the way, how to do that and how to not forget about it, I have this alarm which shows me that. As soon as the alarm went off, it shows me, you can program it in with your phone and stuff. It shows me list the things which you are grateful for. So I do not remember. As soon as I open my eyes, I start doing it. Just an example, maybe some of you do not know what I'm talking about, is you can say I'm grateful for my family. You can say I'm grateful for opportunities in front of me. I'm grateful that I'm alive. I'm grateful for my health, and stuff like that. We can keep going, whatever you're grateful for, truly grateful for. So at the very beginning, when you start doing it, it just words for you, it just sentences to you. You don't feel anything. At least it's my experience. But the more you start doing it, you start putting emotions into it. And now when I do it, it's like super emotional. It's like energizes me. It's like I have a goosebumps when I say that, because it's really true. I was underestimated it before. I was kind of skipping that part, what I am grateful for. And I was rushing for something more, something new, something interesting, something which I would like to have, and I'm already having a lot of it. So it's very good practice to do it in the morning. Another thing which is very good to do, and I'm doing it all the time now, since half a year maybe. List your affirmations. And again, this is wiring of your brain. And affirmations, again, just in examples. I am successful in whatever I do. So you confirm and you believe in something. Even if you don't. Even if you think you're unhealthy, you say, I am healthy. And again, it's gonna sound silly for 100%. Remember, our minds say, what are you saying? We're not healthy, man. Why are you saying we're healthy? We're not healthy. But you're doing that, and you start to wire your brain. And the brain actually, at some point, even if you're unhealthy, starts to believe and say, hey, this guy's not going to stop. He's going to keep saying we are healthy. So we might as well get healthier, right? And this subconsciously going to help you to make better decisions, which is related to your health, for example. That's how it works for 100%. So I'm successful in whatever I do. I plan my work and work my plan. I focus on what I truly essential. I feel wonderful. I feel alive. I feel happy and healthy. I have a lot of energy. I learn from my mistakes. I never give up. I enjoy life to the fullest. I focus on positive. I can do anything. Such things. Whatever works for you, whatever you truly think, and it gives you courage. It gives you confidence. And if you do it every single morning, you energize yourself, and your confidence starts to just rise up, and you go through the day with your confidence. You make decisions. You're not afraid to risk. You're not afraid to do stuff. You're not lazy and stuff like that. It really helps to do it in the morning, and in the evening as well. You're going to see the evening routines. The same thing I do every single evening, and it's wiring your brain like crazy. I'm basically begging you, urging you to try it. But give it a time. It's not going to work in 1 day, 2 days, a week, or a couple of weeks. You have to train it for like a couple of months maybe. Do your sports in the morning. This is my opinion again. I know a lot of us doing during the day and during the evening. I've tried all of it, and it works in the morning for me. And some maybe facts why is it better. The first one is the better guarantee you're going to do it. Because in the morning, and if you plan this spot for yourself, and you know you're going to do it, is a better chance for you to do it than in the evening, because in the evening you can come up, it's the last thing to do, and in the evening you can come up with a lot of different stuff. You might get yourself busy and you will not do it. So it's less probability you're going to do it in the evening when you're going to do it in the morning. First, in my case, it's first and most important pillar of those 4 pillars. Remember, I put it health, wealth, love, and happiness. So first, I want to take care of my health. And again, the day starts with the morning, so it's the first thing I do. So I take care of my health, and I kind of, I love what these mentors say. They say, you have to earn the day. So in the morning, as soon as I worked out, I feel like I earned the day. Now the day is mine. I can go and conquer the rest, whatever going to happen now, but I took care of the health, the most important part. The rest of it is technicalities. I'm going to do it. So that's why I think it's important to do it in the mornings. And again, it is better energy utilization throughout the day, because the sports gives you the energy. And if you get this energy at 9 and 10 in the evening, how do you utilize it? You just go home, you struggle with your heartbeats, you cannot go to sleep pretty quick, you overstay, you go to sleep 12 a.m., 1 a.m. I've been there, I've done it, and it didn't work that well as it works in the morning. And the morning is give you energy, and as we have already figured out, this is one of the tools. So why would you put this tool aside and do it in the evening? You might as well just do it in the morning and get this tool so it's handy to you throughout the day. Eat nutritious breakfast and take your supplements, the ones we've talked about it as well. This is one of the part of the morning routine, and at least 3 to 5 most important things you want to accomplish today, and concentrate on them. I'm going to show how I do it. I put it in the calendar actually, and I highlight it with a different color, and this is how you actually concentrate and focus on the most important things which you're going to do today. Everyone probably heard of it. As I said, have been there, tried it, doesn't work, or have never tried it. Heard of it, never tried it. Try it, like truly try it. I know a lot of people maybe now just listening, yeah, we've heard of it, and you're going to still not do it afterwards, but try this. This is really can be day and week changing for you. and then go to work, listen to podcasts, online courses, and so on. So what I do is when I drive to work, I listen to podcasts to those same mentors, and that's how I learn. And this is one of the ways how to actually implement this in your life. One of the slides I showed, I said like I study for like 50 hours a week, like a month. And where do I get those hours? So basically what I try to do is to integrate things with each other. Like if I sport, I listen to the podcast, to those mentors, to the programs I bought online and stuff like that. I love to learn like that. So if I do sports for 1 hour, it usually happens with me. I got like 50 minutes or 1 hour in a workout, and that's it. But with all the showers and stuff like that, it takes probably hour, 20 minutes. And during all this time, I listen to something. So it's hour, 20 minutes. Then I drive to work and drive back from work. It's 10 minutes there, 10 minutes there, 20 more minutes. I do the same. And then I go to the lunch. Of course, if I communicate and I go with someone, I do not listen to that, but most of the time try to go myself and I listen to it. So on average, I really learn 2 hours a day, but I'm not actually making 2 more hours within my day to get on top of it. I'm using it already what I have. Before that, I was not doing it. I was just working out and listen to music. Okay, music is good, but how it's going to help you? Maybe it's going to help you through the workout, of course, but this is one of the examples how you can get more time. Even you cannot get it physically, but you can get it by implementing and integrating things with each other. I'm going to touch up on that topic a little bit later on as well. So yeah, that was the morning. So we got energized. We're grateful now. We did our affirmations. We feel confident. We ate. We sported. We feel energy. We're now ready to conquer our day. And during the day, we have tools and flows which we are working with to go through daily task planning and processing and stuff like that. And for me, again, it's for me. For you, it might be different tools. I want to list the tools I use to do everything throughout the day, throughout the week, and only those tools, nothing else. And I try to limit those tools to make sure I'm not spreading my attention to too many of them. So one of the tools for me is the calendar. It tells me what to do, when to do it, and how long time spent on that one thing. Because I'm not trying to finish all the stuff that I'm working on just from A to Z. I want to spend a little part of the day on that topic, and then maybe tomorrow as well, and maybe the day after tomorrow, and eventually I'm going to be done with this. But I want to limit it in time, and I'm going to show examples. Project or task management systems, of course. They just help us organize all the activities. It's not possible to do in calendar. It's not possible to understand what the project consists of and put all the initiatives in calendar. Calendar just tells me to start working on this project and spend 2 hours on this project. But actually working on this project, I go to task management tool and start working on that particular project and start to execute those initiatives which are in this project. Of course, communication channels. For me, communication channels, they help me to collect and transform all the incoming communication into activities. That's what communication channels are made for, in my opinion. Not just for talking, not for chatting or something like it. It might be part of it, but the most important thing of our communication channels we use, as a result of it, it should be initiative for someone. Because every single communication ends with initiative to someone. That's how I look at the communication. We not just talk, and then we left the topic and that's it, and no one concludes anything. We should conclude everything, and conclusion is to do to someone, usually, most of the times. So we have to have those communication channels and tools around us to conclude and create initiatives. In communication channels, I use emails, Slack, Skype, WhatsApp. And of course, framework, as I said, I'm going to mention now what kind of frameworks I use to process my emails, to use my project management tools and stuff like that. Basically, those frameworks, as I said, they help us make better decisions, choose right actions, make the tools which I just mentioned, calendar, project management systems, and communication channels help me to do those actions right, and I get better and quicker results with that. First one is calendar. I call it Be Calendar Smart. In calendar, what I do is I plan my week, I plan my days, I replan each day every single day in the evening I replan it, and every single Friday I replan the week. And I'm going to share my experience and my decision-making process of how I do that. But first, calendar management Bible, as I call it. Never book 100% of your time in the calendar. Leave 20% for fire alarms. They're going to happen all the time. If you're going to book 100%, that means you basically kind of write yourself off for the failure, because you're going to have all incoming communication coming at you, and some of the ASAP things will going to show up. So basically, when you plan this, do not plan those 20%, you're actually planning for the things which cannot be planned. And this is super important. Book time for important tasks first. You probably all heard that, but again, remember this decision-making process in the morning. It's our mind works on the highest capacity during the mornings, and we make easier decisions. It's easier to make decisions there. So therefore, we also have to start with the most hardest tasks, which again is very hard to start because they're kind of annoying and they are super hard. But again, we remember our inspiration. Inspiration helps us to start, and we start. Plan everything, do not skip any events whatsoever, and all the private stuff what you have. If you want to do something throughout the day as private thing, but this calendar apparently is working day, you're not putting it there, but you're still doing it, you kind of playing this joke with yourself, because you're not going to have enough time to do other stuff, because you're going to do that stuff. So you have to plan this slot here. Plan all meetings to the back-to-back time slots. Do not spread them throughout the day. I think it's very important, and I'll explain it a little bit later. Do not plan a meeting longer than 1 hour. I actually think it should be like 30 minutes to 1 hour. Reserve the whole day for internal meetings, and do not spread them along the week. So basically kind of combine similar nature events together, because and it's one of the next points is plan your warm-ups and cool-downs. So our brain, again talking about the brain, it takes time for our brain to switch. As soon as we finish something, some kind of activity, and now we're going to switch to another one, it seems to us that we're able to do it right away like that. We close one task and we start to do something else, and we think right away we are doing it like in super efficient, and we jump on it and we think we're doing it. We're actually doing it, of course, but the quality of it not that good, because our brains actually are still keep processing this information of the previous task. And I call it cool down and warm up periods. So we actually have to, first of all, plan those cool down and warm up periods in our calendars. And second of all, that's why this is the reason why we should combine same type of activities back to back, because it helps us to skip those cool down and warm down periods. They're not that big, they're like 5 minutes maybe, but 5 minutes by 5 during the day, it's already 25 minutes, by 7 days it's already hours, by weeks it's already a lot of hours you can save throughout the year if you take the bigger scale and look not only one day, but look on the scale of the year, for example. So this is very important. Plan time for follow-ups, of course. If you had the meetings, plan time for your follow-up, because again, the meeting, the result of the meeting, it should be initiative to someone. If you have, of course, the system when you can create the initiatives during the meeting, which I suggest, but we're going to touch up on that during the meeting management Bible of mine, then it would be even perfect. But if you did not, you surely have to follow up. And for that you have to have time, so do not plan something right away after the meeting. Use this time to follow up, because you are still warm out of this meeting. It's still same activity. Your brain is still working the same as they were working in the meeting, and you just use this energy and this inners just to finish up. And finish up, you create initiatives which were as a conclusion of this particular meeting. Plan all calls back to back, the same thing. Use colors. I use colors for most important events, so I kind of truly see them. They're not on the list with all the same, and I kind of cannot see them well. In the end of each day, we plan tomorrow and only. Do not touch up the next days if you had planned next days, of course. In my case, I planned the whole week, so I start Monday, I already have the whole week planned. But in the end of every single day, I replan another day, because I plan the week on Friday, right? And I plan the week with all my knowledge what I have on Friday. But as soon as Monday starts, a lot of activity starts to going on, a lot of incoming communication come towards me, and I have to react on it somehow. And it gives me also some work and some things which have to be put on my calendar, which I did not put before. So I start to kind of add this up, comparing the priorities and stuff like that. And that's how I end up not actually doing all the stuff which I wanted to do on Monday, but there's some stuff left. So what I do is I take this what stuff left and I compare it now to the next day, and I see what is important of it now. Again, prioritization, and that's how I kind of adjust the next day, and I know what to do the next day. And next day I come at work, the calendar actually tells me what to do. I never think what to do. I never think literally in my head, what should I do next? I have to find out my phone or the computer, open it up and see what's next, because the calendar tells me that. I don't want to bother my head and kind of clutter my head with the things which I'm not supposed to think about all the time if I have system around. So calendar is part of the system. The system, as long as we go through this presentation and I tell you about all this information, energy and stuff like that, those are the systems. The little systems which kind of build up, and as a result you have the huge system around you. So calendar is one of the huge pieces of my system. In the end of each week, as I said, yes, I replan the next week, and I will show you the decision-making process, what I use when I do that. For recurring events, create recurring time slots right away, and I just like to have them all in there, and I do not think of them at all. Do not share your calendar. Yeah, this is my opinion again. Do not share your calendar with others. I have my private calendar. I know we like to have company calendars where we share all our calendars and stuff like that. But what happened is then everyone can plan something in your daily routine, which will break your plans, will break your focus. So I think everyone should plan their calendars, if you have calendar, on your own terms. And you should keep it private, because you want to control your day, and you're gonna stay focused on the stuff which you have planned for yourself, not someone's plans for you just randomly. This is one of the weeks how my calendar would look like. It starts in the morning. As you see, I have different colors. The red ones, those are the most important things which I have come up with and I want to accomplish during the day. If I have meetings are in yellow. Meetings are all back to back, most of them. If I cannot, I kind of course, can do meetings randomly, but I try to force everyone else to, it's selfish, I know, we should all do that, and we still have to find the compromise, but you should push everyone to go around kind of your times. Then I have, in the mornings, I have time slots for sport, you see. I have time slots for my snacks. I have time slots for lunch, and I have time slots for dinner, rest with my family, books, and sleep. Like all the time slots, as I said, because you have to plan them in. Unless you do not plan them in and you do not know them, you will not be doing them. With the time, if you have calendar like that and you look like that, you look at the calendar 100,000 times a day, because that's the only thing which says what to do next. What happens is you wire your brain and you know all those activities which are in blue. You know them all from your heart, and it becomes the ritual and routines for you. It becomes your habit, and you just do it right away. And that's how my week looks like the next week, which I didn't plan yet. It's as you see, all the events which I planned on Friday, and this is the next week which is not planned. This is all recurring events. They're already there, because I know I'm going to have all those meetings. They are recurring, they are weekly or bi-weekly, and they are all there. So whatever I need to do is to fill out the empty slots with all the stuff which I want to be doing this next week. And that's how I go about this calendar here. Another thing, as I said, the second part was the project management tools, PMT. I call it PMT here. And we have to be not only calendar smart, but PMT smart. As I said, the calendar helps us to understand what to do, when to do, and how much time to spend on it. But the project management tools just helps us to organize the project and understand what the project actually consists of. So I suggest you plan your project, you process your daily activities in those tools, of course, you follow up on the teams, you monitor the progress. That's what you do in the tools. Of course, about the task management tools and Jira, Asana, we can spend whole 3 hours. I'm not going to dive deep into details. We're going to go over some conceptual stuff, which I believe in should be used and should be practiced while using those tools. So create your centralized projects. I like centralized projects, roadmap project I call it. Everything in one place, at least myself. Whatever project we have, how many we have them, I always have one place where I accumulate everything. Where in one place I see everything from everywhere. I don't need to click 100,000 times on different things to understand what happens there. And I do it for myself. I come up with the idea how to do that. I create this project and I come up with the flow of how to make sure all those tasks which I'm interested in end up in that particular project. Another one is development project. It's the place where actually is everything we're working on. My roadmap consists of all the stuff I want to do, but it doesn't mean I'm working on that. And then I have development project where, and it's not necessarily development as the programming, right? It's business development and stuff like that. So I have there everything what I work on. Support project, I call them support project, but this is the place where someone else can add up to your plate. Basically, you provide to someone, as I know a lot of us working right now on the flows and want to kind of present their flows of how to that funnel where to just stick the task in and that task goes through the funnel and you know it's going to be done. So those are I call them like support projects. Launch project, this is another space where actually I use for launch stuff because launch procedures, they are different from development, from the planning and stuff like that. So therefore I usually use different space there with the different statuses and flows and stuff like that. Create your individual dashboards. And it's the place where you focus. You have to focus on the stuff which you're working on. Therefore, I truly believe you have to have your own dashboard where you can work and concentrate only on stuff which is assigned to you and which you're supposed to work on. Create your flows. It's a gateway to efficiency. As you know, efficiency is very important, as I said. Efficiency is the doing things right. And to do things right, you have to have the flows to kind of connect all these projects together because they all link to each other. The roadmap linked to the development project linked to support project. And of course, it doesn't necessarily mean it's only single project and I have only 4 projects, of course. It's the category of projects. I might have 5 projects in support, I might have 5 projects in development and stuff like that. Those are the groups. And this is the gateway for efficiency. And I try to create the flows which would overlap with each other a little bit. Meaning, like the end of the flow for department X would be the start of the flow for department Y. And whoever gonna do that thing first of them, that thing gonna be done for someone else. Meaning I'm trying to create the flows so they overlap, so all the time 2 parties meet in the middle, and one of the parties will for sure do some of things and will not forget. And that's how I create kind of control systems. That's how department can actually control themselves if their flows a little bit overlap. If they completely separate from each other, you kind of throw that task and you don't care what is happening, you just care of the result. It can be done, the department's still going to be working and you might get your results back, but the flows, in my opinion, again, they should be kind of linked to each other. In a way, I could not finish the flow without letting everyone else know it's finished and they can start and I can actually impact that. And I built the flow in a way and to make sure this is actually happening. And if this is happening, this is just the twice bigger probability it's going to be done and the flow is going to be followed because 2 parties are being involved and they overlap in each other. Maybe I did not kind of put it in a very clear perspective, but I can someday demonstrate what I mean by that in practice. Create project operation and flow instructions. Yes, we have to have documentation. It's a huge part of it, but I like to document the flows. I like to take pictures of them, show pictures of them, and put the schemes and explain to everyone how they work. And as you see, a lot of us As you know, a lot of us kind of digest information differently. So I use those three formats: documentation, which is instructions; text, written thing; then the scheme, something schematic; and then the picture. And that's how I cover everyone, whoever going to looks at it, because someone is interesting for them just to read the text. Someone takes a look at the picture, and everything is clear to that person and can start working on it. And the same with the scheme. Someone just goes through the scheme, understands the flow and stuff like that. That's how I try to cover this knowledge, because knowledge is important. Flows can be there, they can be overlapping, but if no one understands them, you have to help them to learn them. Project and task management Bible. Have clear project goals, have clear project requirements, have clear project structure and the timeline. So it should start somewhere, it should end somewhere, we should set it up. Have project owner who is going to be responsible for that particular project. One person, no two, no three, just one person who is responsible for everything. That person might not be responsible for actually executing every single task in this project, but there should be one person who is responsible with his or her head on the table of this project to succeed. And that person should be the driver of this project and drive everyone else to make sure this project is going on. Have project priority within other projects, of course. Have clear project flow. How do you work with this project? Set the project rules. Explain to the team what this project for, what the project goal is, and how do you expect everyone to work with this project if more than one person working on a project. Have clear project tasks. Try to detail the project as much as possible. Create as many tasks as possible. More is not less here. More is better here. You might close afterwards these two small tasks, but it's better for at the very beginning just to create as many tasks as you can, and, because those are the most important ideas of this particular project which you want to accomplish. And then you evaluate them, and then you split them, and then you close them, maybe some of them and stuff like that. You do your inventory afterwards. First thing what you do, you put all your thoughts there, create the whole structure, and then start to think which is extra, which is not needed, which is maybe should be sent to the second stage and stuff like that. Do not limit yourself. Do not try to limit yourself to create something MVP first. Create the whole thing first, and then create MVP out of it, not the way around, because you're going to limit your brain if in thinking, and you would think of MVP like this, and you're going to come up with MVP like that. But if you're going to think of the bigger picture, your MVP is going to be in the way you want it to be. Have project execution team, of course. You got to have a team to perform on the project, and have daily activities processing flow, aka Asana inbox, meaning follow up on the projects, try to understand what kind of activities has happened. And there are two ways to do it: just follow up on the activities what happened, or just actually go into the project and see the status of the project and work on that. Have project status evaluation flow, yes. Again, as I said, there are a lot of more to say about the project and project management itself. I kind of cover this, and that's why I call it the Bible. I'm trying to use all those things when I create the project and when I work on the project. This is one of the examples in Asana. Basically, all those, I just realized this morning I don't have the deadline here, but the deadline is there actually. The field is hidden from here. But this is how the project looks like, which has all those things which I have listed here. We have the structure, we have the task, we have the teams, we have the sequence, the priorities, the flow, the owner, the assignee. Now you are equipped with all the tools which you need to successfully run this project. Communication channels, another topic. Be email smart, I call it. Kill email before it kills you. You are not email reader, and you have different job title. I don't probably have this big of the problem in Finco, but maybe I'm not aware of. But I used to have a lot of emails, going through the emails and stuff like that. And I think it's you have to fight emails because they take up a lot of your time. And I actually have the technique of how do I process those emails. We're going to go through them. For that, I create kind of email structure the same everywhere, on my phone, on my computer, everywhere the same structure. And it's also, by the way, applied to the structure of your folders. Like if you have folders in your file storage at work, if you have folder storage on your private computer, if you have folder storage on your cloud somewhere, and you have folder storage in your phone, I create the same structure in all those places if I have multiple places. Again, for your brain, do not do those warm-ups and cool downs. As soon as you see one structure in one place, then you're going to try to find similar thing in the other place with a different structure. You're going to be confused and you're going to spend time and energy to try to find it. If you have same structure and you work with this enough for like a month, the structure in your head, you know everything. Those shelves, remember that table, you know everything everywhere. It doesn't matter what kind of device you use, what kind of space you use, what kind of cloud or whatever application you use. Try to use the same structure. The structure helps you to be quick and do not lose your energy on looking up of something. And email automation. So my Bible of processing emails. Never process the same email more than once. You know that thing, you click on email, you read it, and your mind says, ooh, it's too complicated. I better get to it a little later. You click on another one, you do the same thing. You click on another, oh, that's easy. Answer and send it. And then you get, okay, you had your inbox like 20 emails. You've sent and replied at 5, and you left 15. You close it, you work on something else. Oh, and then you have this idea, I have to check email once again. You go to this email, you got new emails, like 5 more, let's say. You click on them. Oh, that's too hard. Your brain says it's too hard, too much text there. I'm not going to listen it. I'm not going to read it, but I'm going to leave it here. You click on this, and then oh, I got 15 more the emails which I already clicked on. Let me see. I don't remember. What was that? You just start clicking on that again and reading it again, and this is the vicious cycle how you work, and you waste so much time on those emails. This is just crazy. With one guy, I worked in one company as a project manager. We use those emails, and we have calculated how much time we use just clicking on those emails throughout the year. And I think it was 2 or 3 weeks. 2 or 3 weeks pure time of just clicking on emails and reading them and not doing nothing about those emails. So imagine how much time of your life can you throw away just of not properly processing those emails, which we think not very important part of our lives, but it's super important if we think on the scale of the year and how much time we can waste there. So never process the same email more than once. If you clicked on it, it should disappear from your inbox. How to do it is a different question, so I'm going to share my experience how to do that. But that's what I do. If I clicked on it, it disappears from my inbox. I'm never going to meet it again. Yeah, click emails only. Yeah, check emails only once or twice a day. Don't do it. Don't keep those emails alerts on so they disturb you and stuff like that. I usually check emails around 10, 11 and in the morning, and then I usually check emails at 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning. That's it. And it takes me at most 30 minutes a day, at most. This is like not very satisfied if I use 30 minutes for my emails. And for sure convert emails into the task, because this is the one type of the communication. You have to convert those emails into the task, and this is the key, how you can actually process this inbox and make it empty. If you have the system which helps you to convert this email right away to the task, and let this task sit in a project which you know you're going to come back to once someday, and you're going to start working on it. Therefore, you're going to meet this email as a task in that project, and you're going to start working on it. This is one of the tricks what I use how to get rid of emails. Create email folder structure which has handle, yes, automated email processing. That might also work, and I actually have an example here. I used to use such structure. I'm not using it now, but I still kind of talk about it because it's one way of how to deal with a lot of emails if you get a lot of emails. So what I have is inbox, and then I have these 3 folders, which is today, this week, and later. And this is basically the key of how I empty my inbox. The other ones I have waiting from others. I think this is very good. I don't know, someone may be using it, but waiting from others, how it works is, I have created an email for me, for myself, which with the name waiting for hours, for others. I actually has this email, and whatever I send to someone I want to follow up on, I put in a BCC field that my email, and I just send it to that person. and that email goes into a particular folder named Waiting from Others. And in my second cycle of processing the emails, for example, at 5 o'clock in the evening, I'm going to take a look on the Waiting from Others folder, and I'm going to take a look whether I wait for someone today or not. If I wait, I will follow up on that email. But most of the time, I put this email as a task into Asana, and I follow up in Asana as a part of the project. But this is one of the ways how to process those emails. And if I do process them like that, my goal is to empty inbox. That's the thing. That's how you can use this email only once. Of course, if you try to execute every single email, every single thing which is asked in this email, it's not possible to do it even maybe sometimes throughout the day, because they're going to be the task which actually going to be the project. And you should not try to execute the project while reading an email. And that's what your mind think you are up to do. And that's why your mind said, no, it's too hard, let's skip to another one. That's why you skip into the next email. So how to empty your inbox? You should be emptying your inbox, not working on emails. So this is the flow. I don't know how well you can see it, but basically the decision, and this is again the framework. This is pure framework of how, and those systems what I talk about will help me to make right decisions, right? So this framework helped me to make right decisions, how to process those emails and how to deal with them, and not spend more than 1-2 minutes on every single email. So what I do is I open up the email and I start to think whether it's just for my information or this is to do. This is something to do. If it's for my information, I read it really fast and I put it in a folder, information, useful information. I have this folder if I wanted to. That's it, I'm done. I'm skipping to another email. Then I click on the email and again I ask myself whether it's for my information, it's something to do. If it's something to do, I ask another question. Okay, it's gonna take me like, is it gonna take me more than 5 minutes to do if it's something to do? If the answer is no, it's going to take me less than 5 minutes, I do it right away, right at that same time. I answer the email, I call someone, I execute that task. I don't know, I had to assign access to someone, let's say, as an example. Okay, I do it right away, it's going to take me 1 minute. I'm not going to skip it and put it in Asana as a task for myself and stuff like that, because now it's a time slot where I check emails. I can allow myself to do such task within this email. I cannot allow myself to do the project within the email. So I do that. If the answer is it's going to take you more than 5 minutes, next answer what I ask is, can it be delegated then? Because I want to get rid of work as much as possible. If the answer is yes, I just delegate it, and while I delegated it, I forward it to someone and I put in a BCC field my email, which is waiting from others, Igor said, waiting from others, whatever. And that's how I'm going to be able to follow up on that later on. If it cannot be delegated, then I ask the question, so that means it's for myself. I cannot get rid of it, I have to do it. So my next question is, should I do it today? And if the answer is yes, I put it in that folder today we had. And I still emptied the inbox. That email not in inbox anymore. It's in today folder. If no, I don't need to do it today. Next question is, should this be done this week? Because I'm interested about this week and only. If it should be done this week, I put this in a folder this week, or better, I put it in calendar and my project management tool. Because my calendar says what to do, when to do, and how much time to spend it, and I just figured out I need to do it this week, so I have to put it in my calendar somehow. And also, if it's something which is related to someone else to perform on that, I should put it into my project management tool. If not, I'm not supposed to do it today or this week. I just put it in folder later, and I forget about this email for now. Again, this is for now when I check this inbox, this particular time, and just open up in email. And that's how I process all the email. In the very end, I have empty inbox. Yes?
How long did it take you to initially set up all these frameworks?
As I said, it's throughout these all years. I experimented and I put them all together. So all of it, what I'm talking about today, took me like 5 years to accumulate and experiment. But you have to remember you had to give it a time to practice and to do those repetitions and see what works and not works. And a very important thing I'm going to touch up in the end of this presentation is the retrospective. You're not only trying to do it, you're not only experimenting with it, but then you actually evaluated how good of experiment it was, what kind of effort have you put in this. And by asking those questions, I was improving those frameworks all the time. Okay, so that folder doesn't work. If I put it there, I usually forget it. Okay, so I should eliminate it from here. I'm not going to use it. Let's use it this. Let's try this, how it's going to work. In the end of the week, I do retrospective. How did I do? Well, I see this folder this week and there are like 20 emails there. So yeah, okay, I put this emails in this folder, but didn't do anything to me. they just kept staying there, you know. And then I tweak the process again. Okay, so how would I implement it in the process in a way I never forget about this folder, whatever it be, alert, or it's going to be the calendar and stuff like that. And you've seen my calendar. I have the slots to check email, so I never forget to check email. I have the slot to check the email with the name of waiting from others. So I meet it in the calendar. As I said, the calendar is a central piece of the whole day of mine. The calendar says me what to do, and if I can say check the waiting from others folder, I just open up check from others folder and I do it. So I implement it and to make sure I do not forget anything which is important to me. So yeah, communication channels, what I have to say about them. Well, I suggest to convert, as I said, any conversation into the tasks, and all the time think of communication as your goal to conclude something, and this conclusion will be the initiative or activity for someone. That's it. Otherwise, this communication was not that productive. You just spent time there, and the time was not converted into anything good, into any results. So that kind of thinking and this kind of framework will also help you to understand when to communicate, whom to communicate to, in which kind of channels of communication flows to be involved, or maybe sometimes better not to be involved in order for you to get value out of it or get value into it. But the most important thing, what I always strive and ask anyone who I work with about that same Slack is, if someone started the conversation, this should be the flow, this should be the framework of how someone makes a decision to conclude it and who should be responsible for that. You should conclude the conversation and make the activity a task to someone. Integrate PMT notifications into conversations like Slack or not the Slack, but Asana Jira notifications into Slack. It's about the integration of the things into our life. Integrate file storage notification into conversation, like you can give access to the Google Drive or the SharePoint right out of the Slack, for example. So therefore, if you go to the Slack and you use the Slack for communication with someone, you might as well, while you're there, give access to someone else to SharePoint if you have it linked with the SharePoint application, of course, and it's connected into your Slack, right? This is just illustration of how could you skip some of the steps and not go actually open up the SharePoint separately and see who has just requested the access. But you can actually doing it while you in that same Slack, because you might as well doing it if you are there already. And Slack, Skype, WhatsApp, management bio, yeah, have channels, groups for each independent topic, which we probably already have. Have channels and groups for general topics as well. Have proper display names for each participant. This is an example. I think we're all doing it as well. And conclude on every single conversation, as I said, because the conversation is a result and task to someone. This is just an example how we convert Slack how we convert Slack conversation in project management tasks. You talk about something, you like that something, you can create task out of it while you at it. So this is very easy to do, first of all, and second of all, again, as I said, it helps you to summarize on that conversation and make this conversation actually valuable. Integrate PMT into communication channels, that's the opposite thing. Like, for example, here, from the Slack, you can actually mark the task complete, like the task, check assignee, put the comment in. Again, as soon as you're already there and you appoint some piece of time to process this Slack, you might as well use that same time to process some of the tasks which you see as notification in that same Slack. And you're gonna save your time on that. That's how you kind of integrate the things with each other. File storages, as you see here, I can use Google Drive, and I can use a lot of different application with this Slack, like in this example here, Salesforce, Zendesk, and stuff like that. So we should try integrate things with each other, and that's going to make us efficient as well. Daily rituals enables tools and flows. So it's just the recap on all those tools which I use. So the calendar helps me to do what, when, and how long. Project and task management helps me to organize activities. Communication channels help me to transfer any communication into those same activities, because that's the way to do it. And I use email, Slack, Skypes, and WhatsApp, and I have all these frameworks of how do I make a decision. So if I have this framework works the same for me. I can only get better, and I can only improve it, and I cannot get worse. And if I already see what this framework of decision-making process, how I process email, it's just an example. It keeps me on track. That's the thing what I was talking about before, of keeping on track and not getting on the different directions. Daily tasks, of how do I approach daily tasks?
About the previous topic, how do you handle the notifications from the messaging apps?
Yeah, I don't use them. Okay. All notifications are off. I don't have Slack notifications, I don't have Asana notifications, no email notifications whatsoever. Again, this helps you to work on your terms. And if something important gonna happen, everyone knows my WhatsApp, my phone number, where I sit. They're gonna come and for sure disturb me if something ASAP. But we tend to not think of it. We just right away have an idea, we just open the Slack, we write to someone else, and we just distract that person's attentions right away. So that person should also think on their own and get ready, prepared for that. And for that, they have to have some system. One of the system rules for me is to turn off notification. I'm still going to be answering that particular person within 24 hours. I guarantee that, but on my terms, not on that person's terms. And it's not selfish. It's how we all should think as a group, and it's going to help us as a team just to thrive and to be as efficient as possible, because we have to respect each other's time for 100%. So daily tasks, before the task. So there are two stages, before and after. During the task, okay, I'm doing the task. So before the task, I try to imagine why do I do this task? Like, why do I need it? So I connect it to the goal. And as I said, we have goals, we have the same OKRs and stuff like that. So this is good framework to think about the task. And I define the result of the task. I want to know precisely what I want to get out of this task. That's going to help me to be as efficient and find efficient ways how to do this task, because I know where I want to end up and what I want to end up with. It's helped me to choose the ways, the shortcuts, how to get to that result. Because if I don't think to the result, my brain chooses something very simple, maybe not that hard, and do not kind of use my energy to think of something maybe more complicated or thinking wise, but doing wise is going to be like twice easier for me and twice quicker. But I don't spend time to it because I don't know to what result I want to go. So I just randomly go, and maybe I will end up in this result, and therefore I choose wrong methods to do that. Define the most efficient way of how to achieve the results that comes of thinking about those two points both. After, if the task is big, I split it in smaller tasks, that's obvious. After the task, this is super important. Retrospective is super important. So analyze if the result is if I expected it to be, whether I have achieved what I was expected it to be. What kind of mistakes on efficient method did I use? What can I use differently next time if I do same kind of tasks? Maybe I should use different tools. Maybe I should aim for different results. This all thinking will help me to be better next time I'm going to do same thing. And again, I know this topic is super popular and everyone talks about it, but very little number of people actually doing it. They don't like this word retrospective. They think it's waste of time and stuff like that. But you're not wasting your time while doing it. You invest in your time. You're saving your time on the longer run. On the short term, of course, you're spending, if you just were doing the task and then just were getting to another one, of course, now it's going to take you a little bit more time to get to another one because you now have to follow up on what you did. But on the longer run, again, look at the year, you're going to be a lot more efficient. What can be done differently next time, of course? So these are the tasks, meetings. The big thing, the huge topic of the meetings. Yeah, by the way, talking about the task, when you're working on your task on your own, this is the gateway, your gateway to the goal. You kind of link it to the goal. I like to think of the meeting is your team gateway to the goal. It's same as for yourself, but it's only the team who is working in the meeting to get it to the goal. So again, here I choose 3 stages: before the meeting, during the meeting, and after the meeting. So for the task, it was only before and after because it's individual work, but before, during, and after for meetings. Before the meeting, understand why do you need a meeting and connect meeting with the team goals. You have to understand why you're creating this meeting and whether it's going to contribute to the goal which you all have. Like in our case, if we're talking about the work, it's OKRs basically. Define and share the agenda with participants. I think this is super important. We have to know what we're going to talk about. Perfect case scenario, what I like to do, I define this agenda in that same tool, project management tool everyone works in. Not only in the calendar maybe and send out the invites and it gets these bullet points in the calendar and it's end up in my email only. But I like to have this agenda, in my case, in Asana already. I have the project actually with the name meetings or meetings agendas. And I put the agendas there. How does it help me? The agenda points, there's a potential tasks and activities for someone. And during the meeting, when we talk about those points, I literally sit and use that same project and those same tasks and write comments in them about whatever we are deciding during the meeting. So I am building already tasks to someone and potentially skipping the follow-up time which I need. Because during the meeting, I'm not going to be only participating in the meeting or running the meeting, I'm actually having an agenda and already tasks ready to go to someone. And as a part of the meeting, we have to decide who is going to be responsible for something which we have decided on. And I can even assign those tasks because it's in our common project management system already. I can assign those tasks to those people already. And I can move those tasks to the appropriate project if I know where to move them. So after the meeting, I actually stand up and the follow-up is being done. If you use proper flow, process, and tools during your meeting. I kind of skipped to the during part, got too excited about it. Define the goals and results and set the meeting duration time. Yes. And think hard whom to invite. Yeah, sometimes we just invite people, but I think we have to work better on thinking of who is really can add value to this meeting, depending on the meeting goal. And we have to invite only those who really can contribute and do not disrupt anyone else if it's not going to bring any value to them and they cannot bring any value to the meeting itself. During the meeting, we start and conclude precisely on time. We do not wait for latecomers, it's waste of time. We announce the goals, agenda, and expected results, so all the team is tuned in and they understand what they actually hear. But in perfect case scenario, they've seen the agenda, they have prepared, so they're ready to know and actually share their thoughts on it. So basically the meeting agenda itself is just to conclude and come up with the compromises if there should be compromises, or just conclude and go back and keep working. If everyone had done their homework before this particular meeting. Create meeting notes, to-dos inside the team collaboration tool in perfect case scenario. If not, you're creating the notes and you come in after the meeting and you create initiatives for someone. But every single meeting should be ended same as the communication. Again, remember, this is the part of communication channels as the email, as Slack. This is the meeting, the same thing. We should conclude. So what should be done and who is should be doing that. That's it. Make decisions, create tasks. After the meeting, again, the retrospective, analyze the results and were they as expected or not. And what kind of mistakes and efficient method did you use, and what can be done differently next time. And that's how you also can improve your next meeting, so you can think of things which you can implement into those meetings. Experiment with the meetings as well. Things which might help, just the bonus track here, things which might help to make meeting room more efficient is the dark chocolate. Usually if people are tired, they're better off with dark chocolate. Wall watches, it kind of creates the sense of time and scarcity. Whoever runs the meeting, they take a look at the time like I'm doing right now, and I'm trying to speed up a little bit because I want to kind of finish on time. So it really works. It's very good to have this clock here. Snacks for someone who missed their meal. Sometimes we get, remember, on empty stomach, we have super risky decisions and we make wrong decisions. So therefore have some snacks in the meeting rooms, and it may help someone to eat a little bit, and they will be better off and better value for you to give their value to this particular meeting if you're running it. Cool room temperature and ventilation. So remember about the CO2 making decisions. It should be a lot of oxygen, enough oxygen there, and you should stay tuned in. So therefore, the temperature should be not that warm and hot for you to perform best in your meetings. And next thing is the problems, how you deal with the daily problems. They are turns on the way to the goal. They're not the problems. Actually, I don't like the word problem. I kind of refer to the problems as bad solutions, and we have the opportunity to create the better ones. And whenever you approach someone, just imagine yourself. If someone would run to you like a couple of times during the day and say we have the problem, and try to motivate you for any action, what going to be level of your motivation to just jump on it and start working on it? And another case is when someone that same person does it the same number of time during the day, but they say we have the not very good solution there, Igor's for example, let's come up with a better one. Which case is going to be better off? What kind of motivation will I have in first and the second case? I think in second case I'm going to be a lot more motivated to come up with a better solution, not to deal with some kind of problem. The problem is just the word that we came up with. And you cannot predict external obstacles, but you sure can change how you react on them. So do not use the word problem in negative way. Understand what whenever and wherever it is the problem, that means this is a place which requires better solution, and it's not going to be a problem anymore. So this is your opportunity to jump on it and implement it. Look for the lessons, if any problems, and create better solutions. Look in present and in the future, and do not get stuck in the past. Yes, just learn from your mistakes. We have to fail to learn, of course, and we cannot change past. We have to understand it. Just don't stuck up in the past. Just live your life now and change it now and change your future. Integrated life concept really quick. So as I said, the whole world is going in the way to integrate things with each other, right? And so try to limit those times where you waste time. So one of the things, live close to your work. It really helps. Have a gym in your house. Don't waste your time, if it's possible, of course, if you can afford it, or if your house is big enough. It can save you time. Like I have gym in my house in the basement, so it take me just a couple of stairs and I'm in the gym already. I do my workout, I go up, have my breakfast, and I go to work. So I literally don't waste time, and I leave 3-4 minutes with the traffic. It's 10 minutes from my work, so I literally don't waste any time at all, and it helps a lot. And before that, I would leave 40 minutes out of my office, and I would spend 40 minutes. And plus, during those 40 minutes, I would not learn, I would not listen to the podcast, I would just listen to the music, wandering around in my car. So it was waste of time, complete waste of time. And and at the same time, I was trying to understand, where to get more time? And the time was just in front of me. I was just not utilizing it at all. Yeah, you can work out and study. You can eat and study. You can work out and work. You can communicate and execute, meaning that's Slack examples. You can be in Slack. You can communicate with someone at the same time. You can close the task. You can comment on the task and stuff like that. So this is also integration. Drive and study, etc. And I call it integrated life concept. The more you integrate, the more you can create, the more you can do within same amount of time you have. And as I said, you can get up 20 extra hours a month to study or else. The same thing if I do it during my workouts, during my drives back and forward, I get like 48 hours a month just to go through the online programs and stuff like that with my headphones. And if I have a system, and you've seen I do have a system after each podcast like that, if new things what I have learned, I go and I then put it and document it in Asana for myself. It sits in my head, and I choose some of the things and implement it in my daily routines and start experimenting that, so it works. Recap of daily routine. Morning, get up early, express gratitude, list your affirmation, do your sports, eat breakfast, list 3, 4, 5 most important tasks, and go to work and learn something on the way. During the day, have your tools ready, have your frameworks ready, and use them all the time to make decisions. Focus on 3 or 4 most important tasks for the day. Execute tasks into your calendar and kind of trust it, or it might be different tools for you. Use meetings as team's gateway to the common goal. Do not concentrate on the problem, find the solution, and process incoming communication within your tools and frameworks, and maintain integrated life concept. That's how you go about the day. Weekly rituals and habits. In the end of the week, the same we do with tasks, with meetings, with our day. We kind of recap it and we try to understand and conclude. So every single week, on Fridays, I take a step back and I take a look at the bigger picture, because during the week I was busy, I was working, even I had this all systems worked out and all the projects and tasks, and I had them all in calendar and stuff like that. I still caught up in the flow and I'm not looking around, because this is my focus. So Friday is the day where I take a look around now and I see, okay, what happened? What is happening with this, right? And I'm taking a look at the bigger picture, regrouping, replanning. And in my case, what's the flow? So in the end of the week, what I have not finished tasks from my calendar. So I had the task in my calendar, but I did not finish some of them, so I have the list of those tasks. I did not finish some tasks in my project management tool within my projects. There are some emails in my later folders. Remember, I made the decision to put them in the later folder because I made the decision to not do it this week, but maybe they will be important for next week. So I have this source of information which I might use for planning next week. I have later category in my project management tool, if you have one. I have ideas in my head all the time racing around. And I have notes in my phones, in my notebook. In my case, it's Asana Daily Notebook project. So now I want to build the next week out of everything. So out of everything what I have. And here, what tools I use, this same project management tool and a calendar. I have all those sources of information what I need to use to build my week. But tools I use only 2, is calendar and task management. As a result, I'm going to have again my calendar set, the picture what you've seen on the screen, and I have my project organized in task management tools. That's it. This is my aim. This is the goal of processing all those sources of information what I have accumulated throughout the week. And what I do is, I actually have the flow of how do I process the week. This is also the framework. Again, I do not want to remember. I do not want to get into the Friday and now sit down. The calendar says me it's the planning of the week. And I sit down and I start to remember, okay, what do I usually do during the week? So I should probably check the emails. I should probably check the Slack. I am now actually putting a pressure on my brain, and I'm wasting energy like this. Because this is repeated, some activity is repeated. I do it every single Friday. I might as well to create for myself, again, the framework, which just going to tell me what to do. So in Asana, I have this project, you see weekly. I also have monthly planning stuff. and I have everything what I should do in the end of the week. And you see those all events are recurring for every single Friday, so they show up on the Friday. And every single Friday I go through it and I just do it. I accumulate all this information out of it, and I create tasks in Asana in project management tools out of it. And I close this task, and as soon as I'm done, I know I have executed the whole week. I have not forgotten of anything, because this is the framework which helped me to do so. This is the framework which helped me to do those right decisions, to check right places and to put them in the right spaces and stuff like that. Weekly analysis. I process the notes which I have outside of my main tools, and this is again the same processing as I use with the emails. If it's gonna take me less than 5 minutes, I do it right away. If more than 5 minutes, and it can be delegated, I delegate, put it in my category waiting from others. I have this category in Asana as well, for example. Either it cannot be delegated, I put it in project registry. So it's something I have to be doing. I have my individual board in Asana as well, it's called Igor's, and this where I put all my tasks in during this process when I go over those resources. And I clean my head out, the same thing. If I have an idea and it's executable right now, I do it right now. If it's an idea which requires execution and kind of project management and stuff like that, I put it into the project management registry in my Asana, and I forget about it, and I skip to the Slack and other communication channels if where I think I didn't answer something yet, because I want on Friday to be everything is answered, inbox is empty, Slacks are all empty, no bold channels there, if someone waiting on me, because I want to go home satisfied and knowing I have paid attention to everything that happened around me during this day or the week. I process the later email folder. I open up the emails, and now I spend time on them. I understand what have to be done there, and if this is the project, I put them into the project management system as initiatives again. Define tasks, put them in a project, blah, blah, blah. Process PMT project, yeah, I open up, not finished task, I finish them, I put them later, I close all the done tasks if someone did not close them, but I know they all actually done because I want to create the order and create the clarity, the picture of it, and I put the task and plan them for a week. And then I process the calendar. I see all not finished tasks. I also kind of pile them up in that same project I have already piled up with all other tasks I put from other resources. So I kind of put them all together, because now again, this is the bigger picture. I have to rethink it all. It doesn't matter I have not finished them this week. It doesn't matter they automatically going to go for Monday. I'm going to finish them on Monday. No, a lot of things happened throughout the week. This task which I did not finish, taking my decision-making process I've done every single evening, they probably did not deserve be finished, and they're not that important, and maybe there are some more important tasks already in my list, so therefore they might be even deprioritized, and not necessarily I'm going to use them next week at all. And I process the final task list in project registry, and the project management tool for me is to understand what have to be done. And out of it, I select the priorities. I select what will bring the biggest value to the goals what I'm working on. And from there, I choose those tasks and I put them into the calendar, and that's how I build the calendar. This is the last step of the whole process of how do I plan the week during the Friday. I'm done with the week planning when my calendar is full. And calendar consists of all those tasks, and those tasks are coming from the project management tools, and the project management tools are organized and being processed in the way I just explained, by gathering information of all the sources I have used throughout the week, where I accumulate all this information and communication. This week is done, next week is planned, and I go home satisfied. It's very important when you see what you have done. You went through it, and sometimes we kind of forget about it. We just work. And if we work in a chaotic way, we still might accomplish a lot, but because of the chaos, in the end of the day, we feel overwhelmed because we think we did not do anything, because we live in a chaos, we don't have the order, and our table is all cluttered, and therefore it brings emotionally the feeling we did not accomplish nothing, and we go home and we are not satisfied. This is super important to at least perform such a actions of understanding what you have done to go home satisfied. It is okay, you're going to have all the time things which you have not done, which you're supposed to do next and stuff like that, but you have to concentrate your attention on what you've done as well, and that's going to give you satisfaction, and satisfaction is very important. It's going to give you next morning energy to be wanted to get up and go at work again and execute the whole cycle again. Evening, one of the last part really fast. So in the evenings, what I do, I analyze the day, what have I done. I list all the good things what happened during the day. I plan tomorrow, again, based on the results and overall week plan, and go home satisfied the same as the weekend. Eat nutritious dinners, do not watch TV, interact with your family, of course. Express your gratitude. This is the list of the things what I've showed you during the morning. Before sleep, list your affirmations. Again, wiring your brain, read books, go to sleep with your custom time frame, sleep well, and of course do not forget put your earplugs and turn on your sleeping machine and put your Oura ring on. Fast recap of the whole thing of how this day is happening. So morning routines, daily routines, and evening routines. That's what we have. That's how we go about our week. In the mornings, we get energized, we get this inspiration, we get this energy, we're ready to start. During the day, we perform all those activities, and during the evening, we kind of take a look back and we regroup and we're ready for the next day. The last part of this presentation, we're going to go through it really fast. So another one is the personal growth. We can grow not only by following up someone, by trying to find mentors, by reading the books, but we actually can implement the instruments of the growth within our daily routine. And just by doing that, we're gonna personally grow, just without any external interaction. So I list 6 instruments for inner growth. One of them is analysis. I have mentioned it throughout this presentation. In the end of each day, analyze received task emails in all the communication and try to understand which of them generated results and which generated waste. Like, what have you done and it actually generated waste? You didn't accomplish anything, right? And what can you do? Do not execute those tasks which create waste. Those are basically those B-type, C-type tasks, activities, which we have talked at the very beginning, and try to get rid of them. And what can I do to spend less time on execution? Yeah, most important tasks. You're going to get a lot of ideas if you're going to think and actually go and spend time of it. Just use this idea and also transform this idea into the next activities, which hopefully will be your A-type of activities. The next tool is standardization. The work you need to do is being repeated, like my weekly routines and stuff like that. What you do is you define the process, you draw the scheme if you need to, and you create the description of it, how to actually do it, and the result of it is going to be amazing. First of all, you're going to be able to do it yourself anytime. You're not going to need to be holding it into your head, and that's therefore cluttering your head with a not necessary thing. You need your head and your brain to perform at your most capacity during the day on the A type of activities. It's not going to be no time waste and less mistakes because you go through the system. And it's easy, it's very important, it's easy to delegate because you have the process and you have instruction to it. So therefore, you might as well do it yourself now, and afterwards you might delegate it. And it's becomes super easy to delegate it because you already have the process for it. You don't have super special know-how in your brain, you have it built in your processes with instructions. Another tool is, the third one is delegating. So B-type activities should be delegating. And how you can delegate, basically 2 ways. You can delegate in hierarchy, like down the hierarchy to the subordinates, or you can outsource if you cannot do that. Automation, things can happen on their own, you know it. Automation is super important. we have to think of the automation, like automation of emails, auto payments, Jira flows, and things of that nature. We should automate things as much as it possible. Like the same I do with all those alerts and stuff like that to remind me when I need to list the confirmation. It's basically automation. I just add it to my alarm. I do not think of it. It just the system or whatever device tells me to do that, but I set up in a way I want it to be. The same in our, I think, we talked about it yesterday as well. Automation is the key for us to evolve and to grow further. Centralization in time, I mentioned it while I was talking about the meetings, put the meetings back to back and same type of activities. Centralization in time really helps you to save that same time and be more efficient. Emails, meetings, planning days, and so on. Integrate activities with each other, as we already also kind of went through it. And time boxing, of course, define the time limits on tasks, concentrate on them, and lower the disbursement, lower the disturbance. And you can do it with email not being downloaded, Skype is off, phone is off. There was a question today about that. So everything is off, and you can concentrate on the thing, and you kind of compete with the time. Why I use the calendar, what I showed, it's a Google Calendar. It has this line of time which is moving all the time and getting lower and lower, and you kind of see how much time you got left on this particular activities in the slot. It makes me kind of get this competition feeling. I'm competing with this line. I'm competing with this time. I'm trying to get this task quicker than the line gonna get to that end time of this particular task. And if I succeed, I feel good and I have more time for other things which after that particular task. So time boxing, I think it's very important. It makes you also concentrate and kind of scarcity feeling, and it keeps you alive. So recap on the growth really fast. Growth helps us to do even more. We already can and know how to do more, but the growth itself helps us, and it can be stimulated by this optimization. Basically, we optimize our life, we optimize our daily routines, we optimize our work, and we have at least 6 optimization tools we have discovered right now. Analysis, standardization, delegating, automation, centralization in time, and time boxing. Those things, they kind of, I put them also throughout the presentation and mention about them, but now I think it's nice to recap and to see them all together, and those are the things, they're not least important, they are super important and very important. Bonus track. We have 1 minute for bonus track. I do not want to talk a lot about it, but some of the things what I used would help me to save time. Organize your bookmarks so you can find everything really fast. All the ERPs, links, the demo versions, production versions, and stuff like that. You might lose a lot of time by looking at it all the time, looking for it all the time. Use more than one display for work. I truly believe it. If you have only one display, you can do as much as you can. If you have 3 of them, you can literally do 50% more. Use a mouse. I think you can be a lot faster and quicker with the mouse, not with some experts know how to use that little thing and then they can go around it, but not a lot of them. On average, we are very slow with our touchpads and stuff like that. Mouse is a lot quicker. Use headphones just to concentrate. Use password management software. I think it's super important. Of course, it should be installed on the company level, but for your private life, for sure, use that, because you don't want to waste your time on looking for password all the time, on asking password someone, because you actually, at that point, you're not wasting your time, you're wasting someone's time. I use this password management software for myself. I literally have like 260 different passwords in there. It's not possible to keep it in your head. It makes your password super strong. You can generate your password as strong as you can, and it's auto-fills all your forms and everything on your own, from the phone, from the laptop, from everywhere. It syncs to all the devices and stuff like that. You literally here, you can save a lot of time just by using it. Mute communication channels you do not use. Mute all notification. Use productivity tools. For example, at some point I like to take a look at the Facebook pretty often. I didn't like it about myself. So what I did, and it's my computer right now, I installed this application which actually allows me to limit myself with the time I spend to particular resources. So I put the Facebook 10 minutes, and I know now I have 10 minutes a day to open up the Facebook. Otherwise, this application just blocks the Facebook and I cannot open it again anymore. So that not only saves me time, but it also makes me super focused on what I want to find on the Facebook. Now I start to think, damn, I have only 10 minutes. So what I'm interested in, and what I did is, I went to the Facebook. So this decision pushed me to the right action. I went to the Facebook, I unfollowed as many people as I could because they were not interested to me and they created too much mess in my feed, and I could not, within those 10 minutes to get to the point where I wanted to. I left all the mentors in my Facebook feed, and I left everything which is super valuable for me. And now I can get in 2 minutes and get all the information throughout the day which I was truly interested in. This is one example of how you can implement such things and tools also in your life and increase your efficiency. Eat in the office, yeah, this is one of the things. All right, final recap, I promise. 2 more minutes, guys, and we're gonna be done. We should kind of summarize it all because it was a long presentation, a lot of structures and stuff. So I just tried to put it all in one piece, just to recap and for you to your brains to kind of conclude. So to get the better life, we have to make better decisions. When we make better decisions, we choose better actions. With better actions, we bring better results. And again, it's a vicious cycle. With the better results, we can guarantee the better life. This is as easy as it is. And result formula, as we have figured out, is just our time what we have multiplied by activities which we do, having the system which helps us to select those activities, and skills which we have to do those activities. As we talked about the skills, we can train our skills and improve our skills and take care of our skills with focusing on what we are really good at, naturally good at, choose your career properly, and we can do it with the personality test which we can take, with the deep searching of your soul and asking you questions, experimenting a lot. We can also do it with improving our skills every single day. We should stay coachable. We should find the room with the higher temperature. We can build our own self-selected bubble with the criteria of all the people we really want to be around. We need to read the books as they are our mentors, listen to podcasts, and watch the videos. And that's how we're gonna be successful with our skills. If we're working on the activities, what we have learned is we have to concentrate as much as possible on our A type of activities. We have to use the frameworks and the system around us to make better decisions, and we can improve the system all the time to make those decisions even better. We use the tools to do activities right, and those tools are positioning. We position ourselves for success. One of them is inspiration. We train it with setting up the goals. We visualize it to remember of them. We read and go through inspired articles, videos, books, and podcasts, and do the mentorships. We need energy to position ourselves, and we acquire energy by taking care of our sleep, doing sport and taking care of our health basically, and do the diet. And finally, execution tools which we have to execute throughout the day is order and rituals. And here we went through the morning rituals we have to start the day, daily rituals, how we deal with problems, how we deal with tasks, how we organize meetings, how we use project management tools and communication channels, weekly rituals, how we conclude the week, and of course evening rituals, how we conclude every single day to position us to success. And as we're interested in our personal growth, we have discovered 6 optimization tools which can even help us to do more: analysis, standardization, delegating, automation, centralization in time, and time boxing.